This is for the sled dogs in the trenches. Real hockey parents, real stories. The good and the gong show. No filters, no sugarcoating, no politics. Just straight hockey talk and the best guests around the barn. Welcome to the Crazy Hockey Dads podcast. All right, boys, grind them corners, chirp responsibly, and bring that savage fire.
All right, everybody, welcome back to episode 80 of the Crazy Hockey Dads podcast, powered by Pacific Rink, the unfiltered podcast for hockey parents. No politics, no sugarcoating, just real talk for hockey parents in the trenches.
Yes, sir. Trenches, and they are being dug as we spoke.
They are being dug, and we are at episode 80?
8-0, my man.
What?
I know.
80?
I know. Yeah.
I mean, wow. 80.
Well done, sir.
Likewise.
Stuck with it.
80.
Yeah.
I feel like we're supposed to have Bob Mancini on.
Why?
Because we had him on at 20 and 40. So I feel like we were supposed to have Bob Mancini on.
Like every time we double?
Yeah, exactly.
So then 160, et cetera.
Correct.
Well, he's not going to be on this one. So.
He's not. Instead, we have
another Stanley Cup champ.
What, it was Bob Mancini, a Stanley Cup champ?
No.
Oh, you're saying like...
Right, segueing away from Bob Mancini.
Yes, well done by you. Well done. No, you're right about that. He is a Stanley Cup champion. His name is Brent Sopel. You guys might know him. You Blackhawk fans should know him. He won a cup with the Blackhawks. Brent has been nice enough to join us today, and we'll kind of get into him a little later. But he is a Stanley Cup champion and a very big advocate for kids with ADHD and dyslexia.
Yes, having both of those himself, among other things, it was really his path and his journey was probably different than a lot of people's. There's probably other people out there that have gone through or have similar things. But yeah, like you said, we'll talk about it more. But really interesting conversation.
Very.
Yeah.
He was great. We appreciate him coming on. Everything he does for kids is really impressive. So we want to help shed some light on on everything that him and his foundation do, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So with that, you want to do a little Howie's Hockey, and then we'll kind of kick some stuff off here?
Let's rip it.
All right, good. So go check out Howie's Hockey. Go use our discount code CRAZY10 for 10% off. The season is getting near, like maybe a little more near than some of us would like. I ran into a hockey dad the other day.
Oh, it's near.
I ran into a hockey dad the other day. He's like, Jamie, I kind of liked being off for the last couple of months and not having the chaos. I was like, I get it, man. And the chaos is back.
Yeah, every weekend.
It's back, basically.
Yeah, and Noah,
it is back.
It's totally back, and we got a bit of news. So Noah does cheerleading,
right.
But last season they didn't have so she's going into third grade.
Right.
So last year as a second grader, she did cheer, but they didn't have enough kids to field like the youngest team. So there was only one football team that wasn't a high school level team,
right?
And so the girls, both the senior cheerleaders and the younger cheerleaders,
right?
They split the season in terms of cheering games because there was only one team, right? So it was like every other game, my daughter, so she had like every other like weekend off from cheer.
And they cheered for high school?
No. If I wasn't clear, I'm sorry. So
we're talking about town football.
For town football,
got
right?
Got it.
So there was only one team, which was middle school age group, like 6, 7, 8.
Normally it's a senior and a junior team.
Right. There wasn't like 4, 5, 6.
Got it.
Or whatever it was.
Got it.
All I'm trying to say is that Noah had a light schedule last year because of only one team. She only cheered every other weekend because they split it with the older girls.
And this year is different?
This year they have a full team. So now Noah's got full cheer schedule. Every weekend we have a football game and at least a hockey game or two.
If you have one game in a weekend, you're getting off easy.
Yes.
Most of the time, it's not going to look like that.
No. So in any event, there's
as you parents know.
Yeah, but at least the football travels closer.
Right. Listen, I hope that for your sake, you're not running all over the place, but I think you're going to be.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I only have one hockey player in the family, and my other one's like a brainiac. So he's easy.
Fair.
So I don't have the craziness.
You don't have the same kind of commitments.
Correct.
Right.
Like we just have a hockey player.
Right.
Which is still a lot.
Still nothing. Not
itself.
nothing.
It's
right.
not correct.
Not nothing.
Exactly.
Right.
But Yeah. All right. Listen. Well, the craziness is here.
It is.
And for those of you that need
tape,
laces,
there we go.
Candles,
bringing it back,
wax,
buddy. You did it.
Scissors, anything. Go check out Howie's Hockey. They have awesome gear. The blackout sweatshirt is awesome. They were nice enough to send Scott and I a blackout sweatshirt. It is awesome, by the way. I mean, it's sick looking.
Wait, if and for those of you that can't see
visualize,
it just imagine this. Just imagine the color black. And that's what it looks like.
You'll look like a ninja.
You'll be like a locker room tape ninja right. with yellow-handled scissors.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well done.
Yeah.
But so go check out Howie's Hockey. Use our discount code Crazy10 for 10% off. Like I said, the season is here. Go get all your stuff. You might as well stock up now because once the season gets going, you're probably not going to have time to. So you might as well go stock up now. So go check out Howie's Hockey, our discount code Crazy10 for 10% off your Howie's Hockey gear.
That's it. And we're on that final stretch of off-season training. And so any of you that are looking to get some additional reps before you hop back on the ice, and truthfully, you can keep on doing those reps once the season starts. But if you're looking for, quicker hands, faster feet, or stronger stride, you got to check out hockeytraining.com with Coach Kevin. Check out his Instagram, Hockey Training HQ. And he's got a load of off-ice training programs that's going to work on your speed, strength, and agility and, transfer directly to on-ice performance. And for this summer, he's offering a free 30-minute live stick handling session. It's like a Zoom, but it's on the Hockey Training HQ app. And if you don't have it, download it, check out the schedule, find it, and then you can sign up and just, try it out.
Yeah.
See if you like it. I watched a replay because he also posts the replay from the stick handling classes. In case you missed it, you can go back. Yeah, there was a bunch of kids on there. He was shouting them all out, guys, girls, all of it. So 100% check out hockeytraining.com before this season gets going.
Yeah, and it's here, dude. It is here already. So you're behind the 8 ball if you haven't done it yet with him. So we might as well get cranked up with him now. And then Scott and I trust our kids in Titan Battle Gear. We think it's the best base layer on the market. It looks great. It has the most protection for your kids. God forbid they get cut by a skate or they come in contact with a skate, right? Hopefully the Titan Battle Gear will stop it. With the A9 protection, it will stop it. I'm telling you, they have awesome gear. Like I said, it looks awesome too. They have the Miami Vice 3.0. They just released the whiteout camo. They have like I said, Miami Vice 3.0. They have whiteout camo. They have paint splatter. They have the frozen rocket. I know, get your minds out of the gutter. We're talking about something that looks like a bomb pop here.
Well, I don't know why you keep going there with that.
Well, the rocket part.
I don't know. I mean, you say rockets nowadays, people think SpaceX.
Some do.
Some that aren't.
Some.
Like you.
Anyway, so go check out their stuff. They have awesome stuff. Like I said, the best protection on the market. The gear looks awesome. The limited edition USA stuff is sick. Dominic got it. It's fantastic looking. And like I said, it's the most protection for your kids. God forbid something happens. You don't want to you want to be able to stop it before it happens. So go check out Titan Battle Gear. Go check out titanbattlegear.com/Crazy Hockey Dads. In our show notes, use the discount code CrazyDads10 for 10% off your Titan Battle Gear.
Do that. And we also have Athletic Performance Insight. Now we're getting close, as we keep on saying, but any coaches or managers that are still taking a look for video analytics for your team on this upcoming season, you have to check out Athletic Performance Insight. Fill out the contact form on the website. Eric, you'll get in touch with Eric. He'll give you a demo of the platform, no cost. He will break down a game for you, no cost. So you can see all the analytics on the other side. It's great for team video review, helping those kiddos with the X's and O's and learning from team play to individual play. It's got all the stats that you could possibly need. Teams as young as mites up through college ranks use it. So if you're not familiar, check out Athletic Performance Insight and reach out to Eric. And don't forget, new users, 10% off.
$100 value.
Mention Crazy Hockey Dads
In the form.
That's it.
$100 value.
$100 value.
And with the prices of gear these days, that money goes a long way.
It does.
Maybe it doesn't go a long way.
Well, it goes. It gets you closer.
It's $100.
It gets you closer.
It does get you closer.
So speaking of gear, and I'm not going to name any. I'm not going to name any brands.
Right.
But it's like all these expensive sticks and breaking. It's so ridiculous. I've seen more sticks break recently between my men's league game. You know what I actually had? Dude, I was playing pickup. Ottawa's there too. And this was this past Sunday, and I wasn't playing well. I wasn't, I was annoyed with myself. And, we talk about it, and this is true. I was actually thinking of this on the ice. And it's like, okay, we say if, we tell our kids, if you're not playing, if you're, I don't know, you're making bad passes, you're not putting up points, find another way to be productive, be better in the defensive end.
Sure, yeah.
So I decided I was going to up my defensive efforts because I made some stupid passes, turnovers, ridiculous. So there's a puck battle in the corner, and I gave it a little more juice than I normally do. Okay. And I actually there was a guy on the ice. He said, "Yo, watch out! I spent like $300 on this stick," and I was like, "What? I'm sorry."
You're like, "What?"
I'm like, "What?
Who says that?"
Someone that I played with. But the point is like, what?
Douchebag.
No, I'm not saying that he's that.
I'm saying that.
Okay, fine. You can say that, but I'm not saying that at all. But I was just like, if you're worried about your stick getting broken, then why are you buying a $300 stick?
Yeah, just go buy $150 stick, and you won't worry. You won't have to worry about if it breaks. But first of all, so because you're using a $300 stick, I shouldn't go hard.
Right. Well, and the truth is, it wasn't even going that hard. But like I was like, being aggressive with my stick, trying to stick lift, kind of poke the puck away. I probably came down on his stick to stop him from, moving in a certain direction. In any event, yeah, I thought that was annoying, and a weird thing to say. But it just goes to show that these sticks break, and like Otto has another stick that broke, and I told him, like, dude, okay, I don't care if you're buying it with your own money, because we often make him use his own money to buy stuff.
Smart.
But I was like, dude, I'm not letting you buy an expensive stick. It is a total waste of money. You are not capable of taking advantage of the subtle differences between a $300 stick and a $200 stick.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Did I tell you what I did this afternoon?
You bought another stick. I don't know why you're doing it. No, seriously.
I don't have an answer for you. I don't have a logical answer for you.
This is what I
have an answer. It's just not a logical one.
Just buy either off brand or like not the main brands.
I don't have a rational answer for you. I don't. I wish I did.
I know. Listen, I bought it. So my stick
and I know I'm not alone out there by saying that.
So
because I shouldn't be buying a $275 stick.
No. It all comes down to kids just wanting things that make them feel that stroke their ego. You know what I mean?
Listen, I can't disagree with what you're saying.
Look, yeah, but so this is what I'll say. In fairness to your, like obviously Dom's been working with a shooting coach and taking shooting instruction.
I mean, listen.
No. But like in all fairness, like if he was using a stick with the flex, that was like, let's say he wanted, you need to go up and flex or maybe different kick point. Okay, like, but that's not like buying this, the same specs on like a stick that's, twice as much.
He definitely does trigger the flex when he uses it, right? He's of that age where he does.
Yeah.
But do I need a $275 stick for him? Probably not.
No.
I have to tell you, it's more about, and this is probably not, and this is not an excuse, but Dominic's not happy with his shooting.
Okay.
Okay. Now that's not to say that he wouldn't be happy or unhappy with a $175 stick, right?
Yep.
Like I have no idea. But he's so, and this sounds really stupid. I don't even know why I'm saying this, but like, again, this is going to sound like I'm a total fucking idiot, but if I can get him a stick that he's happy with,
yep.
Right. Maybe it takes some of the pressure off of him. Like, cause he goes after himself when he's not performing, so if I can get him what he wants, and it's not an excuse. I should be buying him a $175 stick, but there's no $175 stick that he's like, Dad, I really like this. I wish there was,
That was like, so this.
And again, I'm not making an excuse. I should not be buying a $275 stick for him, but I did.
I just think it's a waste of money.
Of course it's a waste of money. It's fucking awful.
So this was great. So this weekend, so Otto got a scooter this summer.
Right.
Bought it with his own money. He came back from Woodward camp and he was now into scootering.
Right.
So we're adding that to the list of things he likes to do. So now he needs to take the scooter to a skate park. And my sister-in-law lives in the city. We went to the city this past weekend. We actually went again today. But so Otto's in the skate park and there was no scooter dudes there. And then so he's doing his thing and trying to get stuff and he's, whatever, he's working on it. And I give him a lot of credit. He was persistent and he was trying, and like,
Cool.
my hat's off to him.
Cool.
But
Very cool.
some scooter dudes came, and this one dude was there, and his like wheels were really janky. Like, you know, like they were kind of, it sounded like the bearings were messed up. Like the wheels seemed to be like of a hard plastic, not of like like that rollerblade rubber type of thing.
Got it. Okay.
And I turned to Orly, I said, look, this guy, he's nailing these tricks out there, and his scooter, maybe it just looks not good and it's really expensive. I didn't think so. It seems like a total like, he worked on it. He put pieces together, and he was crushing it.
I'm sure you
don't need expensive shit.
It's the person, not the gear.
Of course it is.
It's definitely the person, not the gear.
100%.
It's like a golfer, same idea, right? I mean, like, guys go buy these fancy golf clubs and they still can't hit the ball. It's the same. No, I'll tell you if it's off.
Yeah, well, I can't see if yours is
trust me, I'll tell you.
Yeah, in any event.
Yeah,
so
we have new mics, and like they have like a mute button right in here,
in a place where it's very easy to touch and not notice.
we turned our mics around so they're inside the bracket. So hopefully we don't touch them, because there have been multiple times where we've muted ourselves.
Yes, that has definitely happened.
So we're figuring out our new gear, but yeah. So I bought Dominic a new stick, and again, I'm not making an excuse for myself. Like I don't know the answer. He's not happy with himself, so I'm trying to make the world around him as easy as possible. And that's not, and that might not be a good thing, by the way, because I'm all about making life difficult for him.
Yeah.
Because I like him to work through really hard things.
Yeah.
Right. But he's going through a phase right now where he's not happy with his shooting.
Okay.
And he's getting really down on himself and really frustrated, so I'm trying to, and again, I'm not saying it's right, but I'm trying to take some pressure off of him in spots.
Well, I would say this. I remember when we were kids, right? We played tennis, and sometimes we'd play like indoor tennis, like, indoor courts, and like, or even the outdoor courts, you could demo a racket.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
It'd be cool if the kids could like demo sticks, right? Because right?
There's got to be a program somewhere for
so
that.
you can like figure out like what even the height, the flex, the curve.
There's got to be a program
like,
somewhere for that.
So
there has to be.
In my opinion, I don't think it's a crazy thing to like have your kid, try out a few different sticks. I wish you didn't have to buy such expensive sticks to have them try them all. But I think that that's a reasonable thing, is like kids, as they're coming into their own, and like, I think that's a worthwhile thing to try to do, but to buy all the different, I wouldn't do that. But I wish there was something, or maybe there is and we just don't know about it.
I was going to say, if they do, it's not around here.
Yeah, I don't know. It'd be pretty cool though.
Yeah, it would be. It's funny we're talking about gear because the season is like 2 weeks away. Well, Otto's got mini camp next week.
Next week, yeah.
Right?
I think last episode I said it was this week. I misspoke.
All right, Dom's got a game with his team this weekend.
Where?
Up in Brewster
again?
Yeah, they set up like a thing. Like it's like their third or fourth one with this team. They have ice and whoever can comes type stuff. But apparently, like most of our kids are going to be there. You think you need a second year peewee on that for that game? Maybe Tyler wants to take a look at Otto. I would say yes. The only issue is that there's hitting.
I don't know. He just did a checking clinic.
A checking class, so he's good. He's good to go.
He took one checking clinic.
Listen,
I'm just saying.
He's ahead of the game. Yeah. But yeah, so our team's playing a game, and it doesn't count, but we're playing a game. Like I said, the season's here, and I'm sure everybody out there is scrambling for gear.
Yeah.
Right.
Pacific Rank.
Well, yeah. If you need a hockey bag, by the way, go get a Pacific Rank bag.
100.
Like there's not even a close second to that, by the way.
No.
If you need a stick bag for getting on a plane, if you need a tape bag, if you need a pond pack, if you need a hockey bag.
What's a pond pack?
What's a pond pack?
What's a pond pack?
A pond pack is a backpack.
Yes.
That was produced by Pacific Ring. It's a backpack. Now everybody's copying them. It's a backpack, and you can fit. It was made for pond hockey or shinny from our neighbors to the north.
Yes.
Right. And you can fit a helmet.
Yep.
Gloves.
Yep.
Tape. Like whatever you need, like scissors, yellow handled scissors. If you want, you could throw some hockey wax in there, and one of Scott's favorite, the candles from Howie's Hockey.
Yep.
And your
ambiance.
Exactly right.
The pond ambiance.
You need the pond ambiance, right? Because it makes sense to burn a candle outdoors.
Yeah.
Right. So lakeside, that would be lovely, right? So So yeah, and then your skates, there's spots for your skates on the outside, like little kind of like slots for your skates to go. Made by Pacific Rink, and it is for pond hockey. And to be honest with you, I don't play pond hockey, but I use it to travel.
There you go.
I stick my sneakers in where the skates go, and I could fit a shitload of stuff in this thing.
Excellent.
I can fit my laptop in there. There's a spot for my laptop. I mean, it's great.
Yeah.
And you'll fit a ton of shit in there. They have puck bags. I mean, and their hockey bags are second to none.
Yeah.
YKK zippers. I mean, it's a legit hockey bag.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we love Pacific Rink. Go check out Pacific Rink. They're our main sponsor. They have been for a while now. If you guys need a hockey bag, and give you guys a little heads up that we did last couple of episodes, we are going to have Brad Serkin, the CEO or one of the two founders of Pacific Rink, on for an episode.
Yes, sir.
And after that episode drops, and this will not be anywhere in writing, you'll have to listen to our episode when it comes out, because we're going to have a discount code for our listeners. But it's only going to be up for a certain amount of time. It's only going to be up for like a day or two, maybe 3, maybe. So keep paying attention to our podcast. Tell your friends, because Pacific Rink does not have sales. Their bags do not go on sale. They don't have like Labor Day sales. They don't do that stuff. So we're going to have a discount code for our listeners. So keep paying attention to the podcast. We'll probably drop it on social media somewhere, I would think, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
Wait, which way? Hold on. Drop which part?
We'll drop the fact that an episode is coming up.
With the
Pacific
discount
Rink.
code. Oh, yeah.
I don't know if we can put the discount code on.
No, we wouldn't put it on.
I don't think so. Yeah.
No, but I'm just saying, that's why I was asking what it is that you said we're going to put up.
Well, logistically, I'm sure we'll go through that with Brad as we get closer. But make sure you keep listening to the podcast and don't catch it 4 or 5 days late, because if you do, you're going to miss it.
There it is.
Right. So yeah. So we're talking about gear. Yeah.
Gear.
So if you need a bag, 100% go buy Pacific Rink. There's nothing.
Because I will tell you, the one that we got in our gear package pales in comparison.
Yes. You got another kind of name brand bag with the gear package for our fall team. And it's just it's not the same.
Nope.
Definitely not the same.
No, I wonder if, so we also noticed that there were some new unis that we got. It'd be cool. I would love to see any of our listeners out there that are psyched about their gear package and like the new unis they got looking sharp for this season.
Yeah.
Like send us some pics.
Drop us a picture and tag us on
100%.
You know what I mean? Definitely. Well, I love looking at it.
We got to see everyone getting it. I remember the first time I saw a gear package thing was when Dom had gotten his CJR pre-brick, and I remember it was like in front of the fireplace, and he had it like opened and laid out. He was so psyched.
That was a cool bag.
That was really cool. Yeah.
They put his name on it and everything. Yeah, that was cool. They did a nice job. Yeah. Can I tell you, those gloves for Dominic, like he was like 8 at the time.
Yeah.
Okay. And he
still wears them.
And they could not put the CJR logo on gloves under a size 10.
Okay.
Can I just tell you, like it took him years to fit into those.
Oh, really?
Years.
Did he ever use them?
Actually, no. He didn't. He went right past them.
Wow. That's wild.
Yeah, because when he finally fit into 10s, I think we were playing for the Rockets.
Right. It was like Pee Wee Quebec.
Yeah. So it was, but that's like, it's funny. Dominic makes a joke.
Yeah.
So when Dominic was at Penn State's camp this past summer, like a month ago, and then Princeton, Dominic makes a joke that he has yet to go to like a hockey camp and actually get a jersey that fits him.
Oh, really? Well, he always
has to tuck them in because they're always enormous.
They're always enormous.
They're always like adult mediums or adult larges. And Dominic's like, dude, I'm maybe an adult small at the moment.
Right.
Like maybe.
Yeah. Well, listen, it's not the worst thing in the world, but I get it. If it's always happening, it's got to be annoying.
Dude, it's always happening.
Yeah. All right. Well,
I mean, like you name it. Like it happens to all his gear.
Yeah.
And he keeps laughing. He's like, Dad, he's like, one of these days something's going to fit me.
Well, no. Yeah. But I mean, those are just the practice jerseys. I mean,
well, yes, those are practice jerseys. Yes, correct. Whatever. Yeah, no, the game gear is good for the most part. His game gear is solid because you order it and you order sizes.
Yep.
But like any like hockey camp, he's never fits it.
So speaking of hockey, any hockeying on your end this past?
So he's been doing some like skating and stick handling, right, and some shooting. He's been shooting with Ryan Murphy, our buddy down in Red Bank.
Skating.
He's been skating. He skated with RJ from Top Line on Friday.
Yep.
Right. So he's been with Ryan Murphy. He's been with RJ. So he's been doing a little bit since we're back from vacation.
Good.
Again, kind of trying to ramp up again just because the season is here. So yeah, so he's got, like I said, this week he's got a game with his team on Sunday.
Yeah.
I think only like 2 or 3 kids are missing. So it's the full team. So that'd be cool. And then on Saturday, I was just asked to play in a 3-on-3.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna do a 3-on-3 because it's fun.
Yeah, totally.
I'm like, you know what? At our home rink. Yeah. No, not home
right
rink.
on.
Yeah. So that'd be fun. Just like, you need to keep this fun for the kids.
Absolutely.
At any age.
Yeah.
Right. So it shouldn't be a job yet. So, he works hard, with stick handling and shooting and stuff like that and skating. So I figured it was a smart thing just to go let him hang out and
have some fun.
Yeah.
That's great.
Right. That was
Nice, dude.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otto was, what he did, Boston body checking work, clinic camp recently. Okay. So that was good. And again, he's not body checking this year, but it was open to, second year peewees. And so just to whenever do a clinic that he hasn't done before.
Did that for a week, right?
For like 4 days.
Right.
Yeah. But it was just getting some reps in.
It was good though?
Listen, I thought the idea was just to go and do something different.
Right.
Right. Like he's never done a body checking only, camp or clinic or whatever. Right. So in just an effort to generally be more physical, get some more reps, I'm like, yeah, just go have at it.
And it worked.
I don't know. It worked. I mean, I think he enjoyed it. It was doing different things. But yeah, all good. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. It's a lot of the drills were just like battle drills, and they were closing. Right. Taking away time and space, and learning about timing and stuff like that. So I think it was, even if you're not body checking next year, it's certainly helpful and help like understand angles a little bit more and how you're kind of coming in to like cut their hands, all that other stuff. So
it was good.
Good stuff.
Sounds like.
Yeah, I think so.
I can't believe the season is here already. Like,
I know.
I can't. Like I said, I was talking to Dad yesterday, and he's like, "It was yesterday. It was last week. It was last Friday." And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I can't believe it's here already." He's like, "I was kind of enjoying this."
Well,
the chaos is here again.
I know you got to like ramp up for it because it's like from 0 to 100.
I feel like it goes so quickly. I feel like the off season goes so quickly.
But doesn't like it.
Like I mean, we were all finished.
Just
in like
time goes by fast,
April.
But like time generally just goes by fast as you age and get older. Like things that used to seem like take forever, just like the blink of an eye.
It's crazy.
It is. It's absolutely crazy.
And for those of you who have children, which is I'm assuming probably most of you, when you have kids, I mean, how funny is it? I don't know if you feel this way too, but I remember when I first got married. Like people that were older than me would say like, oh, you just got married, when are you gonna have kids, yada, yada. And they're like, oh, when you have kids, time flies by. And I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, how fast could it go? You know what I mean? Like that's, I'm assuming it's just going to go by like it has the last 24 years or however old I was when I got married.
Not even a little bit.
And can I tell you, I mean, as soon as you have children, time fucking takes off.
Yeah.
It takes off. Like the days, the weeks, the months, they just go flying by.
Yeah. That's
it's nuts.
That expression, the days are long, but the years are short.
It's unbelievable.
It's like by the end of each day, you're just like, how did I get through this day? And then
it's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, weeks go by at like the blink of an eye.
Without a doubt.
I remember saying to Nancy, when our first one was born, he was now 17, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I remember saying to her when he was like just born, he was like, call it like 6 months old, 4 months old, something like that.
Yeah.
I remember he was like kind of like in bed with us at night. And I remember saying to her like, oh, wow, I wonder what he's going to look like when he's like 5 years old, And can I just tell you, like 5 years old went by and now he's 17. So, I mean, where 5 through 17 went is beyond me. Like, I still can't even get over the fact that he's 17. So, for you parents out there who have kids, man, I mean, you know what I'm saying. It just absolutely takes off on you. It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous.
Yes.
So, I mean, but anyway, yeah. So the season is here, man. Yeah. And the insane weekends, the insane weeks. So
let me ask you this. Do you have, as far as like once the season gets going, we're back in school,
right?
Like, do you have additional training or like skill sessions or anything kind of like locked in? Like, what's your approach for the season? Are you going to do a lot of like
extra stuff?
Yeah, continuing with skating instruction. Are you going to be going? Are you going to be doing things in addition to team, practices and then games?
It's actually a good question. So Dominic obviously, works out during the week, right?
Right. So because he's in that environment,
right?
And for anyone that doesn't know, Dominic's going back to Parisi Academy.
Yeah.
And part of that, he's reclassing. He's repeating 8th.
Correct.
And part of that program is working on speed, strength, and agility,
Correct.
Bigger, stronger, faster type stuff.
Yeah.
And that's like part of the academy is athletic training.
It's the main focus of it's the main of their
outside of academics.
Although their academics are phenomenal,
right? But outside of the academics, that's what the kids are spending a lot of time doing.
Correct.
Right.
Yes, it is a school for athletes.
Yes,
to get bigger, stronger, faster. We're using it because we did not hold Dominic back in kindergarten like we should have. So we're using Parisi as a vehicle to then now give him some more time to mature. Give the academics more time. And not that he's a bad student, but he could always use a little more time to mature and for the brain to develop, right? And listen, the secondary part of it is the fact that he's going to get bigger, stronger, faster.
Right.
Right. I mean, so I like that. But the schools, I love it.
Yeah, I know.
I think it's great.
Well, speaking of which, we're gonna have Bill on.
We are gonna have Bill Parisi on. For those of you who don't know who Bill Parisi is, you should go check him out on Instagram. Bill Parisi built the Parisi Speed School. Matter of fact, when Scott and I were kids, he had the original one. It was like around the corner
in Wyckoff.
It was in Wyckoff.
It was in Wyckoff, and I remember it was football players were going there. I think it was mostly football players.
I think it was mostly at the time. Now he did, and it's still big in football. There are still people that fly across the country to go train at Parisi Fairlawn, which is where Dominic's school is.
Oh yes. It
is if you know Bill Parisi, he travels the globe. He works with college programs. He just worked with a bunch of NHL strength and conditioning coaches.
Nice.
So Dominic had his So Dominic is the only returning kid to Parisi.
Oh, the other 3 kids aren't coming back?
Dominic was one of 3 true 8th graders last year.
Yeah.
So there's 36 kids total every year. Dominic was one of 3 true 8th graders last year. The other 2 8th graders went to high school along with the other 33. So Dom is the only remaining kid to do school again.
So those kids didn't reclass.
They did not. There's 2 kids that did not reclass. They just used it as an 8th grade.
Interesting.
Yeah. To get bigger, stronger, faster.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But I must say the academics are no joke.
Yeah.
I mean,
you've always said that.
So Dominic was petrified last year and when he started school because the first day of school, they made him public speak.
Oh, there you go. Thrown right into the fire.
Literally.
Yeah.
And public speaking is a skill, right?
Of course.
And it's a life skill.
Yeah.
So Dominic had to public speak the first day of school. He came home freaking out because there was another one at the end of the week.
Oh, right.
So Dominic now is a phenomenal public speaker.
That's great.
Phenomenal.
How many times does he public speak?
Well, because of the school.
Yeah. But did you see him public speak?
Oh, yeah. Oh, he's great now.
Oh, but what's the forum on which he's public speaking?
So they will pick anything and everything to public speak on.
Okay.
That doesn't matter.
Okay. When they record it or they invite the parents in? Like, how do you?
I've seen videos of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's great.
It's fantastic. So now, something he was petrified of is now one of his biggest strengths.
That's amazing.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, that's awesome.
So they put them in uncomfortable situations.
Right.
Where the kids are forced to get comfortable.
Right. That's great.
So they do stuff like that. And even like the science curriculum, the teacher structures it around because they're athletes, right? And they're lifting weights and they're trying to get bigger, stronger, faster. They talk about the muscles, the muscle fibers, right? They make their science curriculum around the human body,
right? And exercise,
and
like physiology, and all that stuff,
and biomechanics, stuff like that, right? So it's pretty cool.
That is awesome. So he's learning that's interesting that he's learning things that are highly applicable to what he's doing day in and day out.
Correct. Yeah. So it makes science fun.
Right.
Right.
That's great.
Which is cool. The books they read for the language arts are like, one last year was called, what was it called? But it had to do with, it was like an athlete book about a kid. Right. And there's another one this year. There's 3 new books this year for language arts. So yeah, I love it. And I asked Bill Priestley when we saw him at orientation.
Yep.
I said, Bill, would you like to come on for an interview? Because I think he'd be fantastic. Like I said, he travels the globe speaking about, performance.
Yeah.
So matter of fact, our buddy Jeff Lavecchio follows him.
Oh, that's not surprising.
Yeah, no, it's not.
I mean, they're in the same industry. There's a Priesties everywhere. I didn't even realize until I went to their website. And I said, oh my God, there's tons of these things.
Global, not just in the US.
Yeah, no, I know.
So for those of you who are listening, you may know Priesty Speed School not far from you.
Yeah, take a look online if you're interested.
So Dominic actually goes to the academy. There's actually a school that Dominic goes to that he does where he does academics and speed and strength training.
That's awesome, man.
It's cool.
Good stuff. Well, good luck to him this upcoming year over there.
Appreciate it. So you asked if we're going to do other stuff. I'm not sure yet.
Yep.
I might do like a skill, like a skating class that I did all last year, with our buddy RJ from Top Line. Dom met with him once a week.
RJ Top Line.
That's right.
Yep.
RJ Burns Top Line. So shout out to RJ. So I think we're going to do that, but other than that, I'm probably going to keep it, cause he's got late practices this year.
Yeah, I know.
Super late.
Well, that was like,
as you get older, practices get later and later, man.
So Otto was hanging out with one of his buddies from his team last year, and his buddy's still, he's with the AA team,
right?
And they were just talking about their schedules or whatever, and they've got late practices.
I think they prioritize
the AAA to tier 1, for sure, because that kid he's probably not getting home until close to like 10 o'clock.
I'm sure,
if not.
Our practices are pretty late.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but this group of kids is 2 years younger than Dom.
Yeah. No,
it's second year Pee Wee's, not second year Bantams.
No, it's not. You're right about that. Our practices are late too.
Yeah,
a bunch of parents were not happy about that.
Yeah, I guess we'll take that win.
Listen, you pay more tuition, you get a little friendlier ice time,
and you get a bag and gloves.
that the tier 2 did not get.
That's right.
You get a bag and gloves.
Yes. Yeah. So, wow, man, I can't believe it's here. But no, listen, exciting stuff. I'm looking forward to I'm looking forward to, I guess, some of the structure that comes along with it.
With like the school year and
a little bit. It's, just like the loosey goosey stuff when it's like, we leave things to the last minute. It's kind of like you got these options in front of you in terms of doing this or that, and
you don't have to fill time like you do in the summertime sometimes.
No, but no, I think it was good. The summer was good. Otto spent time on the ice. He got to do mountain biking, did scootering, scootering, whatever. So it was all good, man.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's gonna be an interesting season. I'm curious how this whole thing's gonna play itself out.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, let me ask you. Want to talk a little bit more about Brent? You want?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Brent. So Brent, again, for those of you who don't know, Brent is a Stanley Cup champion with the Blackhawks, and he overcame some unbelievable hurdles to get to where he got.
Yeah. And so basically,
like
ADHD, dyslexia, self-esteem issues, other dysgraphia, like a lot of I don't know, disabilities that. Yeah,
challenges, right? Whatever you want to call them.
I mean, I think he himself he said he likes to refer to them as disabilities just because that
it's more of a buzzword.
It gets people's attention a bit more, but it's right. And in any event,
he wants to bring eyes and ears to it to try to help the situation more.
Yeah,
so I get it.
And even just thinking about this, and part of his message, when it comes to coaching, was not all kids learn the same way. And you don't have to have a kid that's got dyslexia, ADHD, dysgraphia. Like, there's plenty of kids that don't have diagnoses that also learn in different ways.
Sure.
So I think for any coaches listening, and you certainly don't need me to tell you this, but we talk about communication all the time. And like for some kids, if they're struggling, don't just assume that they're dicking around or they don't care. Like maybe there's something else going there about the way they learn that they're having a hard time with,
No, it's true. And he's been an advocate for these kids, and he's looking to help whoever he can. It doesn't matter. He realizes that he struggled as a kid. And he's on a mission. He's on a mission to help as many of the dyslexic / ADHD kids that are out there.
Right. And now he's running the Sopel Foundation for Dyslexia.
Yeah.
So that he's got that going, and that's his main focus now.
Yeah.
Post playing, and that's just that's his life's purpose right now.
That's where his energy is going.
Yeah, to help people that are afflicted with the same things that he had, and helping give people resources to get through it in ways that he wasn't able to.
Listen, he's been great. He sent when I reached out to him, we started talking. He sent Dominic I would call it like a care package, right? But it was a box, and it's got the Sopel Foundation logo on it. And it had all this cool stuff in it, like a sweatshirt, like wristbands, like all this cool stuff in it. Like, he is trying to reach out to as many of these kids as possible to help them. And I have to tell you, Dominic speaks to him, every once in a while. They correspond because Dominic is enamored by the fact that he found somebody that has similar, or I guess still has similar challenges that he has, and has made it to the pinnacle of his sport. Right. So that so somebody like my son, Dominic, he looks at that and he wants to pick that person's brain, right? Because they speak the same language, right? And he can understand him, right? So he's been fantastic just for my son as a sounding board.
Yeah, that's amazing.
He's more than generous with his time, and he's a very impressive man.
Yeah, without a doubt, and had a long career, won a cup, and just overcame a lot. So it was great talking to him. But before we kick it over to him, we should just shout out Sparks Skate Sharpeners.
We should.
Yeah.
We definitely should. Do you want to do it or you want me to do it?
Yeah, you can go.
So we've kind of partnered with Sparks. For those of you who don't know what Sparks is, I can't imagine that most of you hockey parents don't, unless you live under a rock.
Fair.
So Sparks is an at-home skate sharpener. Okay. I always thought that the smarter thing to do was to go get your skate sharpened by somebody who's been sharpening for 20, 30, 40 years, right? And it's an art form to sharpen the skate, right? When they do it by hand. All the machine I'm talking about in the pro shops. So we've partnered with Sparks, and they sent us each a skate sharpener.
Yep.
Right? I opened mine this weekend. And I am very impressed at what I am seeing so far.
Yeah.
Very impressed.
Well, listen, they're used by pure hockey.
Everybody almost.
Like they're all over the place.
They're everywhere.
Yeah. And skate sharpening. I don't know. Like I was actually surprised, like when Otto played at Wolfpack, they didn't have a pro shop at either rink.
That's right.
So you had to go to like the nearest hockey monkey.
Neither did the Rockets, by the way.
So and where was it? No
pro shop there either.
No, there was somewhere else where he was, and there was no pro shop. And like it occurred to me, I guess there's more places, more rinks that don't have pro shops than
some of them don't do well in certain buildings.
No, fair. So it's true. But all I'm saying,
space out to something else.
But all I'm saying is that nowadays, you got 2 sets of steel. A lot of kids do
100%.
And just in terms of the convenience of doing it at your house, it's now, listen, they're not cheap, but they're certainly they're more affordable than they've ever been.
Yes.
And they're great machines.
Yes.
And especially if you've got more than one skater in the house, the ROI happens kind of quick.
If you or your child skates together, if you bought one, Scott, when you guys first started playing, like when Otto started playing, you have been very much in the black right now.
Fair.
I mean, if you have more than one child in the house, or you as an adult skate and you sharpen your skates, I mean, especially with the everything rising cost wise these days, right? I mean, you can't sharpen skates for like $8-9 anymore. Or although maybe you can in your hometowns, it's not
that way around here.
Correct.
Yeah.
And it's not widely. When you go up to Boston, for the most part, you can't sharpen skates for like $8-9 anymore.
No, it's more.
Right? It's like $12, $13 depending on where you are, right?
Sure.
So the machines are not cheap, like Scott said, but they're consistent.
Yep.
Right. And if you buy it when your kids are young, I can almost guarantee you, and you could probably sell it when your kids stop playing too.
Right.
This thing has value. You're not done. Once you guys are done, just sell it on eBay or something like that. But I'm very impressed with what I saw so far. Right. So Sparks and Crazy Hockey Dads are teaming up. So we're gonna have we're gonna do an unboxing.
Yeah, we'll do an unboxing video so folks can see.
Right, we'll do
for
an
anyone
unboxing
that hasn't seen the machines yet.
Right, and then we're gonna have, so you guys are gonna hear, about them more on our shows, probably in the next 2 weeks.
Yep,
is the plan.
But just want to give everyone a heads up.
Right, that you'll be hearing more about Sparks skate sharpeners from us.
That's it.
All right.
All right. Well, with that said, let's flip it over to Brent.
Sounds good. Enjoy, everybody.
All right, dude.
I think so.
All right, guys. Tonight we are here with our next interview. We have NHL vet Brent Sopel, Stanley Cup champ. Brett, man, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Really appreciate the time.
Well, thanks for having me on and listening to me blab for however long you have me.
No, that's what this is all about, man. We had a request for you like 6 months ago. One of these dads that wrote in there like, you should have Brent Sopel on, and I was like, and it kind of like we've been so busy, it kind of like went in one out the other, and then all of a sudden,
so that's where I stand on your list.
No, that's not.
Listen,
that's not.
I'm just kidding.
I say
sure
invite him immediately if it's any consolation.
I didn't know who you were, and all of a sudden your stuff popped up, and I'm like, oh shit! I'm like, okay, here we go, right? So
was that parent? What was he saying? Because I look at learning disabilities differently, or part of hockey, or
no, his child had ADHD, and people that listen to this podcast know that I speak very honestly and openly about Dominic's ADHD, right? So we were kind of going back and forth, and he's like, "You should have Brent Sopel on," and I was like. And I didn't know your foundation. I didn't know kind of what you did, until like it kind of popped up again in my face. And I was like, and I think you also responded to one of our clips. You saw it on.
I wanted to jump through the team through the post and kill whoever you were talking to that day.
So, so I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, I know who this is. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, here we go. So it worked out perfectly. But yeah, man. So do our listeners a favor for those who don't know who you are and kind of what you're doing now. Tell everybody what you're doing now, and what kind of like your mission is right now.
Yeah, obviously life after the game. I guess it's been 11 years since I hung up the skates after 18 years pro, and I started my own charity foundation. Actually, last on the 20th was 9 years.
Congrats.
So the Sopel Foundation for Dyslexia, it's a 501c3 worldwide. Obviously, I'm dyslexic, but it's all for all types of learning disorders. So I've got dyslexia. I got dysgraphia, which is the writing portion, dyscalculia, which is the math portion, and ADHD. And I didn't find out till I was 32. So I was reading at a grade 4 level in high school.
Could you repeat that? Sorry, I think I talked over you.
I was reading in a grade 4 level in high school.
Wow.
That's wild.
And obviously nobody, you're the hockey guy, you're in Canada, you're the hockey guy, and, wouldn't write a final, write my name on, handed it. They're going to be, you're the hockey guy, right? Coming from Saskatoon. And my daughter was struggling and she was in grade 1. And I ended up, my ex-wife and I got her tested. You went to a neuropsych. And we go back for the results and like, oh, boom, boom, boom. So that's how I found out that was me. I've never heard the word dyslexia. Or obviously, nowadays things are more prevalent, right? Growing up in Saskatoon. He was just a dumb kid. I was called dumb, stupid, and lazy. I remember throwing a desk at a kid in grade 3, like just things but hockey was my only place. And I lived on the rink, obviously in Saskatchewan, and we have winter, 10 months a year, outdoor rink in every school, so we can go on the ice and before school and lunchtime and recess. So I started the foundation when I got sober, and that's my purpose and mission, and is for every dyslexic, for the understanding, and then wrap around the education into, sports. For me, I struggled. I've never read a book before in my life. Reading at a grade 4 level in high school, obviously you talk about that as that grows. And I still struggled reading and writing and all those things after the game. So it's my purpose to leave the world in a better place when it comes to mental health and sports, because now for me, it wasn't a sport. It wasn't a job. It was a self-esteem. It was the only place I could get my self-esteem. Couldn't do anything, all the other simple things that you guys, or I call it you normally can. I couldn't do that. So I struggled mightily, except for on the ice.
Right.
Wow. And when you were growing, sorry, James.
No, go ahead.
Sorry, dude. I feel like I do that all the time.
No, you're good.
But growing up, I mean, obviously, if there's no diagnosis or there's no knowledge of like some of these challenges or these disabilities, like that was just normal to you, and it wasn't really until 32 that you really like connected those dots. Like, wow, something's wrong with me, or like along the way, did you feel like something was up, but you just never figured it out?
Well, it was funny. I didn't start kind of connecting the dots till a couple of years ago. Mm-hmm. So I knew I was different. As a kid, you know something's up, but you can't pinpoint it. So I never connected with any of my teammates. I didn't connect with my first person till I was 46 years old, and if you watch when we won the Stanley Cup, and winning the Stanley Cup was the most amazing, emptiest. Yeah, and I said emptiest feeling I've ever had, because when we were, when Jonathan Toews raised that cup, I was kind of around there circling, because I had no idea if anybody was ever going to give me that, pass me the cup.
Wow.
Why? I'm curious. Why'd you think that?
Because I didn't have that connection
with your teammates.
And I never, with my teammates. So I never really understood all this as to my point. And I'll tell a story is, every NHL guy or pro guy always takes a pregame nap. I never did. My day was, if we're playing in Anaheim, I'd go to Disneyland, walk around, or I'd go to the mall, or playing at home, get the oil change in the car, pick up the kids, whatever it was. Or, Saturday was the only time I'd on the road, stay at home, watch college football or whatever. Right. I was always doing something. And because the more tired I was walking into the rink, the less my dyslexia worked and my ADHD. So I could play hockey, not think hockey. And I never connected those dots till a couple of years ago, as I was growing the foundation and understanding the foundation and understanding dyslexia and that kind of stuff more. Then I'm like, oh, I did that. Now I know why I did that. So it was my defense mechanism. It was the glue that kept me together, but I didn't know why, right? So to your point is, I knew I was different, but I didn't understand why.
So you would almost like tire your brain out, right? So it's so funny that you say that, because so Dominic, when he was in kindergarten, first, second, third, he was always like upside down in his chair, right? And right. I mean, right. I mean, I was that way there was a story, I went to, when I was younger, I went to a private school called Montclair Kimberly. And, my parents came to see me in like first grade, for like parents can come sit in the back and watch, right, for a couple hours. And, my mother still tells the story today. She's like, my father was going, Sue, why is Jamie upside down in his chair? Like, why he's the only one not really paying attention, right? So it's so funny that you say that, Brent, because when Dominic was in the fourth grade, COVID hit, right? And I saw they were only needed to be in school for like 3 hours a day. So we pulled him out and we actually put him into a hockey academy where he got on the ice at like 9. He got off the ice at like 10:30. They went to do off ice from like 11 to like 12:15. And then they went into the classroom and he could focus more because he was exhausted. Right. So it's almost like they got the energy out of his system. He can actually sit for a couple hours and concentrate on school.
Well, and I'll take a little bit of a different angle on that. Yeah, probably some of that's a little bit, but he filled up his self-esteem tank. So think of self-esteem as a gas tank, right? So he went there for, 3 hours of 4 and he filled it up.
Right.
Because, we go there for school. Let's just use 8 hours for normal school, right? I call it sitting in an electric chair. The anxiety going down. You're different. You can't do this. I'm grade 6. I just want the coupon to like me. I can't read. What's wrong with me? You're dumb. You're lazy. Why aren't you working hard? This is stupid. Why can't you? Why are you doing this? All these things wrong, right? So he got to do something that he was good at. And that goes back to my earlier conversation, right. Why self-esteem is so important to me. And that's why the foundation and kind of what I do is a very different angle. Is if you don't have self-esteem in anything in life, if you're a fireman or a policeman or a lawyer, you've got nothing. And for us, kids with learning difficulties, disorders, we just learn differently. Right. We're smart. We just learn differently. And you equate it to love languages, right? If your love language to your wife is, gifts, and you only say, I love you, you never give her gifts, at some point in time, she snaps, right? So does a kid. So you talk about sports, no matter what sport that is, if you're trying to tell the kid the wrong way, we shut down. Like, I threw a desk at a kid in grade 3. I shouldn't be doing that. Why did I throw it?
Right. Frustration, maybe, something like that.
100%.
Yeah.
And so if I went to the game, my brain wouldn't work. I could play hockey and not think hockey. As soon as I was rested, oh my God, I felt awesome going to the rink, felt awesome there until I got on the ice. Because then my brain started working. And that's why you were equated to thinking hockey. Like, you go to make a play, instead of reacting, you're thinking, then reacting, obviously. And then, that's too late. Instead of just going with your instinct and playing the game of hockey, I'm, thinking the game of hockey.
Right.
Wow. And that was, and that differentiation was true throughout your youth career. As you moved up the ranks, it was the same thing from as far back as you could remember.
Yeah. Obviously dyslexia, you're born with dyslexia. I was born with all this stuff, so I had this, my whole life. And, I was obviously one of the slowest, I was always rated the slowest, and not only in the NHL, but, I could anticipate and same thing, growing up. So it's been a part of me my whole life. And, now I'm just kind of connecting the dots with the understanding, because the work I'm doing in the foundation and, everything else that goes with it. But it was definitely still mental health is just still a major factor in my life. My mental health is terrible because of finding so late out in life. And again, then the only thing I was good at was hockey. Only thing I could do, right? Take that away. What do you have, and what do you have? And that's why for me, youth sports and the mental health and the education of teaching the kid the right way. And I get calls and emails all the time, does dyslexia affect hockey IQ? It only affects a hockey IQ when you're taught the wrong way.
And so for yourself, and that was a question I was going to ask. I'm glad you brought that up. But from the X's and O's point and the hockey IQ, perspective, in what ways was it, best for you to receive that information, to consume it, to sort through it? Like, anything in particular that you would do?
Well, it's, and every kid is different. Thank God there is, some video and whiteboard. Like, you give me a verbal direction. And our brains work in a very a 1-2 pattern. That's it. So let's just say, Dominic, go up to your room, clean your room, brush your teeth, make your bed, then come down. I guarantee he only does 1, maybe 2 of those.
You're 100% right about that. Yes.
Right. Because our brains don't work that way. So now you're giving a kid, a drill, and, I'll talk about, when I coached mites, I did numbers, not positions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I started the year, we did it on the outdoor rink. I set up the position. So 1 was left wing, 2 was center, 3 was right wing, 4 was right D, 5. Because how many kids at 4 to 8 know their lefts and rights anyways?
Sure.
It's true.
So I bring them in one door and out the other, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And then as they started understanding their positions on the ice, then I start attaching positions to those numbers. Then, okay, 1 is left wing. 2, because, your coach, is that near side or far side? They don't know what left, right? It just becomes near side. Then you flip ends. Is that near side? Coach, is that near side? Right? Now that's creating anxiety.
Right. Right. And when the kids are anxious, they can't play well.
Right. Eliminating, if we can eliminate that, right? Just go out there. And, so it's just, simple things like that. So much easier, makes the game so much easier for kids, right? Now they can go and enjoy it. Now they're not questioning, everything. That's one question less. about that, but I struggled with it all. And, your original question was, I need to see it. I need to see it. Sam drove 10 miles in school. I don't know where Sam is. Show me where Sam is, right?
Right.
Kids with learning disorders are touch and feel. So it's okay if you go on the whiteboard. And ADHD, you'll explain that, there's two types of ADHD. There's one that's obviously bouncing off the wall, but there's two where you don't process the information fast enough. So coach is drawing the drill, and maybe the kid processes half the information. He's going to get so excited, he's probably going to go first in line, because you guys ever heard of the drill buster? Thinks he can do it. Then he starts it, and he hasn't processed the whole drill.
Right.
So I need to see it. I need to touch and feel it, kind of doing it also, instead of, as young kids, all right, the 1, 2, 2, 4 check, for example, until they're old enough. What does that mean?
Sure.
Show them.
It's funny you say that, because, it's funny. I would always say to Dominic, like, how come you're never in the front of the line for a drill, bud? Like, why are you always in the back or toward the back? And he's like, Dad, he's like, I need to see the drill. He's like, so I watch everybody else do it. He's like, and then I can figure it out. So I'm like, I just hope that the person in front of you knows what they're doing too, but that's, I'm joking around about it, but it's true. He always puts himself mid toward the back of the line so he can watch.
Yeah. And, this morning, in the foundation, we recorded an episode with the chief of staff of Texas, University of Texas football. Him and I put together a slide PDF of how to coach us. Like, I've had calls when I was coaching. I was running a program, and I had a coach that wanted to kick a kid off their team at ADHD, because the kid was sitting there spinning, and he's like, he can't not paying attention. Well, for a kid with ADHD, for myself, there's sometimes when I'm talking to somebody, I got to stare at the ice. I got to hear what you're saying. Maybe the kid with ADHD is looking at the birds.
Right.
But he's listening in his own way. I said to the coach, and he wanted to kick him off the team. He put him in a different dressing room, and now I start getting hot, losing my mind, start screwing.
Yep. Yeah. No,
because
you can swear. It's all good.
It's so important to me, because you just don't understand that kid.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between coaching and teaching. We shouldn't have coaches. We should have teachers. Kicking off that kid for what? Because he listens differently. I said, was he shooting the puck? Was he bothering anybody? No. But, we pay attention in a different, if I'm looking up, I'm still paying attention in our own way. And that's to your point, Dominic's learned that, and how to process information, where to be. And hopefully the kids are doing it the right way. But
in front of them. Right.
The worst part is him going first, screwing it up, and getting yelled at. Because guess what? His self-esteem now just took a hit.
I was just going to say,
he was excited to go first.
Yeah.
Yep. Everything to me is self-esteem, because it's all ha ha ha. Oh yeah, till you're inside, till you've had 16 different knives stabbed in your heart all day long. Most normal kids, I call it normal, right? Kids with learning disorders only have 1 or 2 during a day. We might have 16, 17, 18.
Right.
It's interesting. So was there a point along the way, and I think I know the answer just because of, you shared how you've more recently discovered some of this stuff, but without the diagnosis or without the clearer picture that you have now, did you get to a point where you were able to articulate some of this to whether it be coaches specifically, to be like, listen, I best receive the information like this? Was there ever any bridging that gap with coaches along the way, or no?
No. And I think, a lot of this stuff is more important at a younger age, again, because it's self-esteem, right?
Sure.
So obviously when I was older, 30 years old, when I got the diagnosis, I didn't care. I was still obviously in the heart of my career. I just focused on my daughter. Okay, what does my daughter need? What resources, what IEP, all those kinds of things comes with it. But I never related it back to me. So a lot of the stuff is, at the younger ages, this is where it's so important to teach them that way. And so to your question, is it no? But I found my I call them defense mechanisms around things. I had a foundation by then.
Okay.
And
Right.
I guess that's the difference is, these young kids and these kind of things don't have a foundation. If we don't build a proper foundation, that concrete brick is going to break at some point in time. And for me, my biggest problem is when I was on confidence. I was one of the best. I obviously won a Stanley Cup, Player of the Week a couple times. 1 week tied with Marilyn Mew, right? Then there's other other times when I was playing, I didn't even deserve to be in the AHL because I was so bad. Because my mental health and my self-esteem was so bad.
And
there's no consistency in my game.
Yeah, because now it's so much more common to hear about players that are taking leave of absences to attend to personal or mental health issues. Was there from you? Do you recall that being something that was done when you were playing, but it was like less publicized, or that's definitely not something that went on back then?
No, you walked away. All my injuries, hundreds of broken bones, every broken bone I played with, I got during the game, I finished every game because, actually somebody asked me this just recently. When did you think you made it? And I said, there wasn't a day in my career that I ever thought I made it.
Wow.
Interesting.
Because I was always looking over my shoulder.
You always worried that the shoe was going to drop on you.
Shoe was going to drop. If I got hurt or I didn't play well, they put somebody else in. They didn't, they don't care about you, right? Piece of meat. Oh, he's playing better. He's playing better. Guess what? We're keeping him in the lineup. And so there was no options, of that. And again, I didn't even understand myself. That could have fallen into place with that. Obviously, I'm just learning this kind of stuff now in the last 5 years of kind of understanding myself and what this all really entails. So even if they came up to me and say, "Hey, Brent, would you like to step away for a week or two?" I would have said no, because I didn't even understand what that meant. And truly, it was too late to help me anyways when it came to that stuff.
It's interesting. It almost motivated you. It did motivate you. You kept going and playing through injuries and doing whatever you needed to do because you were always worried about somebody, looking to cut you over your shoulder. And it really motivated you. And that's what I would think that's probably one of the reasons why you played so long in the NHL. I mean, you never got comfortable. You just kind of kept plowing forward.
The only thing I had was, my work ethic, and most kids with dyslexia and stuff have to work harder. Like, we usually on an average, 3 to 4% harder. We've got to work on a daily basis just to get through the normal stuff, right? So that was ingrained in me. But obviously, at what point is mental health? Like, I would have given up my NHL career and my pro career in a second, my ring, my cup, anything, to figure it out myself and diagnose this at a young age.
Wow.
Hockey ends at some point in time, right? It's ended up at 40 right now, and the last 11 years have been the worst years of my life.
Really?
Me and my wife just married just less than a year, but she's ADHD. She's the second person I connected with, and I'm almost 50.
Yeah,
because I didn't have understanding.
But you found somebody.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's
right.
It's been amazing, to that point in time. But you take a look at Dominic or your kids, you don't want them to suffer one day, never mind 40 years or 30 years or whatever that is. And I was talking into relatability terms, and cancer, everyone knows that, right? If you want to find it at stage 1, not stage 4.
Yeah,
same thing with this kind of stuff. And that's why when it talks to the foundation and sports and hockey, why I take such a different approach. And people in the game of hockey look at me like, "What? You're a weirdo. What are you talking about? Why would I do numbers? This is not how we do it." Well, guess what? The game today is nowhere near what the game was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
We've developed, we've evolved. Why couldn't something like this work?
Sure.
It's true. It's very true. You must feel, even with all the challenges, right? I mean, you played, you got to the top of the heap. So, for kids that have, dyslexia, ADHD, any of that stuff. I mean, you're a role, in my opinion, you're a role model for those kids, because, Dominic was saying before he met you, he was saying things to me like that. I'm looking for somebody who like has what I have, because I want to talk to that person, right? Like I want to find out like how they dealt with it, right? So you just kind of figure out. I mean, listen, I don't want to speak for my kid, but as he's been getting older, he's, I guess, figuring out a way to cope with it. Does that sound accurate?
Yeah. Well, obviously, you gave me Dominic's number, and Dominic called me, and and I talked to him, and it was actually an interesting conversation, because he said to me, he's like, "Yeah, I'm working with my sports, psychologist," and he said, my sports psychologist tells me I've got
yes, performance anxiety. Yes.
And so we're kind of walking through it, and he's like, when I'm doing a drill or on the ice, I don't do the right thing, then I shut down. I'm like, well, Dominic, you don't have performance anxiety. There's no performance anxiety. It's self-esteem.
Right.
Now, if he screwed up going before, right, couldn't get on the ice, he screwed up. Oh, now you start guessing, what's wrong with me? Why did I do it right then? Why did Johnny in front of me do it right? That's not performance anxiety, and I hope I'm a role model. I hope kids can look up to me, and I'm honest about this stuff, right? Because I'm not the only one. Dyslexia is obviously, it's 1 in 5, and it's hereditary. No other NHLer, Boquist, he has it. Obviously, he's still playing, but nobody else talks about it. So you look at the percentages, 40% of us have ADHD, right? Go back to Dominic, right? So I hope I talk about this honestly, so that I know there's kids that are going to hear it. There's parents that are going to hear it. They're going to resonate with it. And that's why I'm truthfully honest, because it's not something that's 1 in a million or 1 in 10 million. It's 1 in 5. And nobody talks about it. 800 and some players in the NHL every year. And I know of 2, and I think there's 10,000 ever played in the NHL.
Right.
There's a lot more. That's why I'm open about it and honest about it. And I hope that I'm a role model to these kids, and whoever wants to reach out, like I said, I gave you my number, Dominic called me. We all put our parents on the same way, and so do I. And, if I can help anybody at any point in time, I always will, because that's my purpose now.
Well, if you wouldn't mind, if we could just maybe like rewind the tape a little bit, and just, we're always curious, like I mentioned before, just about people's paths. And, if you could just kind of paint that picture for us, right? Like as a kid, how you came from a hockey loving family, maybe not. You had crazy hockey parents, maybe not. So, just if you wouldn't mind kind of going through some of the, that roller coaster that you went on to get to the NHL.
I don't think the parents were as crazy then than now.
Oh, fair.
Okay. Because now it's it's not a youth sport. Now it's youth business.
Yeah.
Well put.
Very well put.
So I'm sure my parents are great, but it was back then, and it was about the kids. We grew up in Saskatoon, played my minor hockey there. We had a farm 3 hours north. Go up there every weekend, summers. I loved it, lived everything. But, the game of hockey was about the kids back then. Never on a plane. It was a 2-hour drive to the next tournament. Or, for us, I think the longest, I never was on a plane for hockey until I got drafted to the NHL.
All right.
Got drafted by the Vancouver Canucks in the 6th round, 144th overall. Then they had development camp, which was, a week or 2 after that. So draft for me was in Edmonton. So it was a 5-hour drive. Drove with my family. So I wasn't on a plane for hockey till I got drafted to the NHL. I got to go to Phoenix. I got to go. You don't, so, again, played locally. And, at that point in time, wherever you lived, you played. There wasn't, played minor hockey there, till I was 14, played midget AAA, got, protected by the Saskatoon Blades, WHL, played there for, I think my 16-year-old there, got traded to Swift Current, played the Swift Current Broncos, got drafted by Vancouver. Their AHL team was in Syracuse, New York. That's where I started my career, and started in the minors. And like I said, we had mini stick tournaments in our hallways, but we didn't travel 2 hours. We had a tournament 20 minutes out, or it wasn't this notion of, again, youth sports has become a business, and
big one, big one.
Private lessons, and the majority of the people that I've come across don't have a clue what they're teaching. They bring out all the bells and whistles. Oh, I'm going to put a mic on, and I'm going to have some beeping. I'm going to have an iPad, and I'm going to have all these things to bounce over just to mesmerize you by all these apparatuses out there and make my kids go 100 miles an hour. And I have no clue what I'm talking about. For me, is if it feels right, it's wrong.
That's it. Can you elaborate on that a little bit or give an example?
Yeah, no. Because if you're coming off your season, right, you're trying to learn new things. You got to be outside the box. You got to be outside your comfort zone. So if it feels right, you're back to your old habits.
Yeah.
So I need it to feel wrong to do this better, or to, we're trying new things. It shouldn't feel right. And you can't go 100 miles an hour. You shouldn't even be breaking a sweat. Because if you can't do it at 10% of energy, how are you going to do it at 100? You're not. You're just going to go back to your old habits. Obviously, the summertime, the season's over. You got to start slow, right? You got to feel comfortable. You got to feel uncomfortable. Then at a certain point in time, you get comfortable. Then now you can ramp up the speed. So if it feels right, it's wrong.
Interesting. Well, I guess I'm always improving in my beer league because it never feels right.
But let me tell you, I'm sure the beers after the game feel right.
Yes.
Not for me. That ship has sailed on my behalf.
Me too.
Yeah.
So you get drafted. You're playing in the minors. Tell us kind of what that was like, and how long it took you to get up to actually get to the show.
Yeah, for me it was awesome. I played obviously in Swift Current during we're playing 70 games a year plus playoffs. There was no working out back then, right? I think our longest bus ride was 24 hours.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's long.
I've lived on the road since I was 14. Yeah,
unbelievable.
We go on the West Coast swing, Portland and Seattle, and finish the game. We had 2 bus drivers drive all night, stop at a truck stop at 9 a.m, and go in for breakfast, and get drafted. And for me, I was late bloomer, right? It was obviously my hockey sense and my skill was there, just not my skating. So I had to kind of outthink people in my anticipation of where the play was going to go, and I had to learn how to be a pro and what that meant, right? And so the AHL was great. I don't know what I ended up playing, a couple hundred games before I called up and made my stamp, and stayed there. But it was, it was being a professional. It's what that meant every day. Coming to practice, playing consistent, understanding what that meant. Now I'm living on my own. Obviously, in junior hockey, you're living with another family. Right? Now I'm living on my own, and
right.
What does that mean, and what goes into that? And we're playing in 3 games in 3 nights, and now you got a gym. Now you got trainers, strength coaches in there, and I needed that time in the minors to kind of understand what all that meant. For the game of hockey, because back then, now it's 12 months a year. Back then it wasn't. Obviously the working out wasn't the way it is, right? The nutrition wasn't the way it is. And guys would come to camp to get in shape, and
as opposed to getting there when they're in shape.
Right? Oh yeah, the training camps and 9 exhibition games and all these kind of things that we had to do back then that they don't need to now, but I had to understand what all that meant and how it was playing, 82 games and Now I'm playing against men, right? Now, the fights, you're fighting bigger boys, you're blocking more shots, you're playing more games, everything was bigger, harder, faster. And that took a toll on your body and how to manage that. So the AHL was awesome for me. I needed it. If I were to try to jump into the NHL, it's, 19, 20, 21, throwing me to the wolves, I would have, my self-esteem would have been so demolished. I never would have made it back. So it was a perfect journey for me. I needed it. Obviously the game has changed now. I think all the kids are a lot more mature. They're coming in shape a lot more. And so it was a fun time. A lot of drinking, playing 3 games in 3 nights, and learn how to play guilty, going out the night before a game. And the funny thing is, that was some of my best games ever, right?
Really?
Hungover, getting home at 5 a.m, 6 a.m, some of my best games. Why? Because I could play hockey, not think hockey.
Wow. And
playing guilty, I just play, not think.
But so that, if you were to take like that analogy, or maybe it's not an analogy, I don't know, but like, just saying like you couldn't think hockey, then does that same principle apply to like other facets of your life, where like whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, whether it's a project, whether it's a whatever, going to the grocery store, do you still do similar ideas apply, or was it that was very hockey specific, where the thinking would get in your way so much?
My thinking, it still gets in my way, right?
Okay.
In my head, because for me, I'm dyslexic, so you guys read with your left, we read with our right, so we're looking at things differently. For an example, you kind of take a tape measure. You look at one. Hey. You take a tape measure, 1, 2, 3. That's what you guys see. Every little notch in between is what I see. So very differently. So I can see a kid's stick being turned a millimeter in or out from across the ice.
Wow.
So now apply that to, how I see the world is so different, right? So I get quite, being misunderstood as any person is the hardest thing in the world, right? So, back to your question. Yeah, my head, I'm always questioning, did I do that right? Are they going to understand me? Are they not going to understand me? This project, is this going to make sense to a non-dyslexic? Or, I talk about the foundation, a line that I use a million times a day. I'm like, hey, does that make sense? Because it makes sense to me. Now it doesn't make sense to, a left-brained person. So yeah, my head's the worst place in the world to be. Nobody want to be in here more than 5 minutes. They jump.
It's funny because I think Dominic kind of overthinks things too, right? He's always, but I have to tell you, so Topher Scott, I don't know if you're familiar with Topher Scott. So Topher Scott, right? He has a child who has ADHD as well. And he said it perfectly, which I've been telling Dominic for years. I'm like, buddy, you have a superpower, right? Like people with ADHD have superpowers, and it's funny. You just kind of alluded to one of them. I mean, you saw people's sticks turned in. You used your superpower, Brent, however you want to call it, to, like you said, you weren't the fastest, right? You weren't, you said you called yourself the slowest, right? But you figured out a way to navigate the ice and be in position or whatever it is. And you played at the highest level, right? I mean, you figured out a way to, even if your self-esteem was low, you figured out a way to stay. I mean, that's remarkable. That's remarkable.
Yeah. And I talk about, it can be a superpower if there's understanding behind it.
Of course. Right.
And that's, I think 100% it can be, if there's understanding, it's funny, you talk about Topher, his kid at ADHD. I've never heard him ever talk about learning disorders. I've actually made comments about it on some of his videos. He's never talked about it. So, I think that's kind of a funny statement, because he had somebody on there. I said, what about learning disorders? You never talk about it. Dead silence, no response. So, to your point, it can be 100% if there's some understanding and it's taught the right way and the kid's able to harness the right way. And, for an example, a lot of dyslexics don't learn lefts and rights. go to the dot, take, and turn left. What? Yeah, I said turn left, right? And guess
Your
what? Now
other left.
right? Yeah. And then, I did in front of everybody. Now you're getting yelled at, and so you see how quickly it can seem. Oh, but Jimmy, 100%, it can be if it's taught the right way, if there's understanding that come in there and harnessed in the right way, and not the approach. I made it right 100%, but I would have given it up in a second to have understanding. And that's kind of why I'm honest about it. And Dominic, he's got more understanding than I ever did.
I wonder if that's just the kind of like the time that you grew up in, right? And the time that he's growing up in, right? You said before, nutrition wasn't really a thing back then. Mental performance coaches weren't a thing, right? So clearly we've evolved around.
Well, I didn't know until I was 32 also. So
right.
He's light years ahead of where I was.
Right. But so you may not have known, but you figured out a way to, again, I'm going to say cope or deal with, whatever challenges you had. And it's funny too, because they say that, ADHD kids make some of the best entrepreneurs because they need to figure out other ways to get things done that they know that they're struggling with, right? So they wind up figuring out other ways to get something done that maybe the regular kids, if you will, I don't know what to call them, but they do it a different way.
The normies.
Right, exactly. It's funny. That made me think of NARP, Scott. We just interviewed a kid from Princeton. So Dominic and Scott's son Otto were at Princeton ice hockey camp last week, and we interviewed one of their defensemen. Really nice kid. And he called the regular students NARPs, non-athletic regular people. That's what they call the regular students. Yeah. So that reminded me of that. But so the ADHD kid, right? They figure out a way to do whatever they need to do, and you did that, Brent. I mean, you got to the pinnacle of your sport, which again is remarkable.
100%, and that's kind of why I talk about it so openly and so honestly, is that, 50% of dyslexics in prison in the world are dyslexic. 50%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Or 64% more chance likely to commit suicide. But 40% of self-made millionaires are dyslexic.
Right.
So, I talk about this honestly. So it's one or the other.
Yeah.
Now that's why self-esteem is so important to me. So, because if as somebody with learning disabilities, we're always going to choose the bad path, not the good path.
Why do you think that is? I'm curious.
Because it's easier. Because we've struggled for our whole lives.
So it's a path of least resistance.
Right. For me, it's the more we connect with. Right. So for me, I've never read a book, so I started struggling when I grabbed that first book. What are you, a year-old, 2-year-old, 3-year-old, right? So I talk honestly and openly. So there is understanding, and that's where the self-esteem comes in, right? So a normie kid or whatever the kid from Princeton calls it, they didn't have all those struggles for the first 5, 6, 7, whatever that ends up being. Obviously, just talking, hypothetically, but
right.
If you didn't have that, we wouldn't fall on that negative side. So that's what we connect with, right? We're always going to change that side. So, with some understanding, if we can shorten that gap between, the good and bad, because there's more understanding, and then that's where sports and hockey is so important to me, is coaching the right way. Then we close the gap and the successful. And for me as a coach, if I can make you still be playing beer league when you're 30 or 40, 50, I've done my job.
Yeah.
Because, obviously everybody's goal is to make it to the NHL, but less than 1% ever do. I think I saw it the other day in the NHL alumni. I'm like 3,476. That was my number. So I think there's like 8,000 people ever played the game in 100 years. So if we can teach the right kids the right habits and the right understanding and team play and work ethic and all those things that comes with it, it's direct correlation with real life.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't like your teammate? You don't like the guy you work with? But guess what? We're in the trenches now. We got to work.
Yep. So when you when you were growing up, and you had mentioned this earlier, just about the socialization piece, and just having that camaraderie with like teammates in the locker room, and how like you didn't have like the pregame nap, you went out and like got some energy out. When you were younger, did you like? What was that like for you? And I asked just because I'm sure there are people that are going, that are listening that have, kids that are having trouble adjusting socially, for similar reasons. So just curious what that was like for you, and some of the things you might have done to cope.
Yeah, no, it's funny, a good portion of dyslexics have that trouble connecting, right? Because we think differently. Now you think back as a kid, oh, you're that weird kid that says weird things. Well, in our brain, it's not weird because our brain is wired differently. And that's why the self-esteem is so important, like to me. And that's why I keep coming back to it, is whatever that self-esteem as a parent, keep doing that. Keep repeating that. If that's chess, that's piano, that's hockey, whatever. And, the kid's struggling with homework, close that book, go play that sport, because guess what? Sucking the life out of the self-esteem out of the kid doing the homework,
is really not helping. Yeah.
Right. The self-esteem, where they can go and get it again. So there's going to be a lot of dyslexic that don't have that. So it's trying to find that connection, right? What do they love to do?
Right.
If that's just going in the basement and shooting pucks. You talk about, remember when you fell in love for the first time, how amazing that felt, right? How that changed your life. How, think of that as a kid. They fall in love, their love is hockey, right? Let them go and shoot.
Yeah.
Let them go downstairs and stick handle. Let them, right? That's, to me, and everything. And, they don't have that connection. They don't have the teammates crowded around, all right, that's fine. Find ways to get that self-esteem, back up, whatever that ends up being for that kid.
Right. Did you have, so I'm curious, when you became a pro and you started playing, in the NHL, did you, I guess, were your teammates more accepting of, like, did they know that you were dyslexic at the time, or no, they didn't, right?
No.
So were they more accepting of you than, say, because kids when they're young can be nasty, right? Because now you're talking about playing with grown men. Were they more accepting of you as opposed to like?
I'm always known as a weirdo. Right, you're the weirdo who never napped, right?
But you still performed at a high level, so who gives a shit?
Right, you got some guys that take a 4-hour nap,
right?
Some guys that take a 39. You're the weirdo.
Right.
Like, I never had roommates. Nobody wanted to room with me, right? Because I never slept.
Oh man!
So earlier in my career, I'd be hanging out in the lobby.
Oh, really? In like the middle of the night
while my roommate was sleeping, right? Because I didn't want to wake him up. I didn't want to be that guy. So, obviously adults are more forgiving than kids are. 100%. Kids can be ruthless, and obviously nowadays with social media, all that stuff.
Yeah,
but I was always known as a weirdo. Still am. But I guess more understanding around what I am and who I am now, and obviously not finding out all these kind of things till I was 32, and really not connecting the dots the last couple of years. So I always will be known as the weirdo that didn't nap. I'm sure there's, or when I was in Vancouver, the day before the playoff game, we were supposed to play Dallas, and game one, I've had 3 herniated discs in my back, and my daughter dropped a cracker on. I was holding her, and she was 6 months old or something, and I bent over and threw my back out. So,
oh boy.
Picking up a cracker. So that, I'm known in Vancouver as, that. I'm sure you can go on. There's many crackers on eBay selling right now. So,
the original cracker.
Yeah. So
and you can autograph it.
Yeah. 300 discs, you just turn the wrong way no matter what you're doing. It just goes. So, yeah, definitely. Kids are obviously ruthless, but I'm always knowing if what I am and who I am. Long gray. I used to get called greasy hair. I things I was called for.
Well, I'm assuming the chirping was probably very similar back then, right? Than it is today. I'm assuming that hasn't changed a hell of a lot.
I think chirping was way worse now, right? Because guys guys are always, obviously very different now. You go back in the day, you had the Bob Proberts and, the Chasers and, the Twisters and, Grimsons and those guys that
Kosher
would have put your head in the, in next year. Now, obviously, the game doesn't have that. You know, there's a few tough guys, in the league, but there used to be 2 or 3 on every single team. And, here, when my first game for Vancouver, first NHL game was in Chicago. Obviously come full circle and I'm on the starting lineup and I look across and there's Bob Probert. I'm like, shit, I'm going to die my first NHL game. But at least I got an NHL game under my belt. So my parents could be happy. So I don't think the chirping is quite game? The way it is.
Right. Did you drop him that first game?
Oh, God, no. I was trying to run away, get as far away as I can.
I can't say I blame you.
Oh, my God. He was a killer, but he could play.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. Wow. That's one of the most talented enforcers that you've come across.
Yeah, obviously, I think he had one or two 30-goal seasons, I believe, in Detroit. At the same time, he could just beat. He had the whole package, right? One scary dude, but he could put the puck in the net, and that doesn't exist now, right? The game's very different. Obviously, you go and toe drag through the middle. Back in the day, you get Scott Stevens.
Yeah, you're not going to get up. Yeah, exactly.
Now it's I don't want to hit you, or So the game's changed, just a tad bit.
Do you think you could play in today's game, Brent?
God, no.
No, you don't think so?
No.
Why?
No.
Lack of skill, lack of skating. Well, what do you think?
Both of them. Obviously my speed was never there, right? I get up and down the ice, but it wasn't the way it is. And back when I played, there's a lot of stopping, starting. There's a lot of I played in the hooking. I played in the era of no red. When there was a red line.
Right.
So my first NHL goal was tied in a 1-1 tie.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, all right. So that's how far back. I go. Obviously, the speed and the skill is elite right now. But you talk about youth and everybody wants to do their one-on-ones, but what I watch is everybody can shoot and everybody can skate. But the biggest portion that's missing now, the kids don't make it, is the little details.
Like what?
Yeah.
Stick position. On puck. Yeah. Stick position, angling, give and goes, right? Those little details in the game. I want to take it and toe drag. Okay, where we are? Where am I on the ice? What's the time of the game? What's in front of me? Do I have guys changing? Can I chip to myself? Right? Dumping it. Let's dump it with a purpose. You just lay it in there soft, so the D-man can go with it. Not putting it in soft in the corner on the yellow. So if I'm going back there, I'm going to take, I'm going to be eating the glass because it's laying in there. It's putting it, it's, coming across support. Where's his stick? Am I in his front pocket or his back pocket? If all these little things that coaches don't teach, they don't know. And that's the missing part. They all can go up and down. They all can toe drag. They all can shoot. But does that translate into the details, of the game and, a D to D positioning wise, where are you? Are you outside the dots? What's in front of you? Where are your shoulders? Where, so all those little things, in front of the net, if you're boxing out two guys across is a double screen. You never want a double screen because the goalie can't look around you. It's being in front. The D-man always wants to be in front. You always want the guy behind you and tight against you because, then you tie up his stick. And you push him back in the goalie. Now he hits the goalie, so it's goalie interference. But now you're fronting the puck. Now you're on the offensive side, right? Now it's like so. All those little details are the biggest portion of the details of the game that I've watched. Watched hockey and coached hockey. I only coach the details. I only teach the details. I've never taught a stick handling class or any of that because they all can do it. Can you do the little details?
So, that's such a great point. And I do wonder often when I speak to people, like, and we don't always talk about it, but like, when did, whoever it is we're talking to, when did you really immerse yourself in those details? Like at what point in time did that become important to either your role or the team that you are on? Because there are so many little things, and there's the amount of things you have to process like so quickly and just have muscle memory on them, like all those things. But for you, was any of what you had just described like things that did come much easier to you in terms of picking up on those details?
Yeah, because of my dyslexia, right? Because how my brain processes, right?
Okay.
So go back to my earlier point. I can see, a kid's stick blade here, in a degree down the road, down the ice, right? So, is that stick on puck? Is it really stick on puck, or is it kind of half on stick on puck? Well, if it's only half stick on puck, for an example, I can still, the guy still can make the play, right? So it's those little details is what I based my game around. That was the only reason why I stayed so long, is that I could do those details. I could see those details. Quicker. Obviously, for dyslexics, my spatial awareness, right? That's part of dyslexia, right? Knowing where you're on the ice and what's on the ice and what's around you. I started the career off power play guy, right? My most was 42 points, but I ended up as a PK guy in the end, so blocking shots. I knew where I was in the lane. There's a difference between, kind of in the lane or fake in the lane, right? You got to know where you are on the ice. Like,
right.
Game of, it's not a gain of inches, right? It's
game
smaller
like
than
millimeters,
that, right? Right.
Yeah.
And everybody equates that to scoring. I never do. Is your stick in the lane? Do you tip the puck?
Or do you stop it?
Or you stop it?
Yeah.
Or do you make the guy make a bad pass where he doesn't want to be and you don't even touch it? So your stick's in the right position. You made him make a play that he doesn't want to make.
Right.
That's still a great job.
Yeah. And that doesn't show up on the score sheet.
Doesn't show up on the score sheet. Most coaches
But it wins games.
Right, 100%. Like when I was coaching mites, I had 5 practices with one hand on their stick.
Wow, the whole time.
Because I wanted them to push the puck, push the puck, right? No stick handling.
Yeah.
Second of all, stick position, stick on puck. I was teaching at 5. I was teaching hitting at 5, right? Those are the details. Parents still come to me today when I see them somewhere. They're like, oh, my son or daughter, I had girls on the team, they angle the best. Well, I worked on angling. I worked on stick on puck. I worked on finishing the checks. I had, gym mats Velcroed to the board. So they'd angle from behind that, stick on puck, right into the boards, right?
Right.
Going through the stick, going stick on puck, right? Those little details are habits they'll have for the rest of their lives. But those are the details, you going in there and somebody's got their stick in the air. Like most coaches would never do that. I've seen coaches yelling. I could hear them yelling, right? 2 hands on your stick. Should never have 2 in your stick, except for when you have the puck. Because if your stick's in the air, you're opening up the passing lane anywhere you are.
Yeah. So it's got to be on the ice.
Puck's going faster than you are.
Yeah.
Right. So no matter where you are, you should always have your stick on puck, right? So if you're in front of that as a forward or D-man, whatever it is, should never be up here.
Do you still
practices,
coach too?
I do. But to be honest with you, I've been ran out of the game. I was running a program here and I was told every day how stupid I was and I have no idea how to play hockey.
By the people that were running the youth organization?
By parents.
Oh, who gives a shit what they say?
Well, and then I ended up getting fired because I'm like, I'm here to develop. I want to develop kids.
Yeah.
Right. And my drills are 1-2 because my brain only processes 1-2. I can't go here and then flip and do. My brain doesn't work that way. But at the end of the day, are they developing?
That's all that matters.
We all want to go to 1-10. But is that reality?
Right.
And I'm 1-2. And for me, I would never leave 1 till we got 2. And I'd never live 2 till we get to 3. Right? Because I got to build a foundation. How do you build a house? Roof down or the foundation up? Right. And parents are like, this is dumb. And they're not moving fast enough. You don't know what you're doing. So I've kind of removed myself from the game because my mental health being told you're dumb can only last for so long. When you see it, you know it, and they don't.
It's funny. What sounds dumb is a parent not wanting their kid to learn how to play the game from an NHL veteran. That's dumb. I mean, that's like, that's so fucking dumb. I don't even know what to say right now. Like,
I started with my wife now. She's like, I told her this when we first started dating because I was already coaching. She's like, she come to games and parents are screaming, the things that gone on. Like, I don't know what to say. And when I tell these stories, people think I'm lying, but no, I want to be able to flip the puck and I want to do the Michigan. Okay, how many Michigans do you do a year? 0. So why am I going to work on that? How many times are you going to flip up the puck and cut through the middle? 0. Okay, why am I going to work on it?
No.
How many times are you going to come across and chip it to yourself? All the time. So we're going to work on that.
Right.
I wasn't the flashy guy, still not a good looking dude, and my game wasn't good looking, but
but it
the
worked.
Details.
Yeah.
The details to me are so important because when a kid gets it, you see a smile.
Mm-hmm.
He figures it out. Oh my God, I
up.
got it.
Yeah.
Right.
And their face lights up and like, oh, this is amazing. I can do it. Now we can go on.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. My son, so I brought him to play a pickup game the other morning, play on the weekends. It's an early game. And we're out on the ice and he decided, it was actually really funny. He told me, he's like, Dad, I want to play against you today. Okay, he hasn't played against me yet. I was like, I want to play against you. I'm like, yeah, why is that? And he said, because usually on the other team, on the dark team in the morning, there's a guy that played in the coast. And so he goes, I want to play with the guy from that, played in the coast because like he's got all these details dialed in. It's like, it's unreal. So funny enough. So this guy's name is Scott also. And he decided to go light. So he was wearing a white jersey. I said, you going to change? And my son's like, no. So he's playing against me and I'm way bigger than he is. But we're playing and I pick up the puck along the wall and he was coming to, I play defense and he was playing wing. And I was picking a puck along the half wall and dude angled me off the puck. I swear to God, like position. And I always tell, I swear to God I did. And I always say, I said, and this was after like he tried to get the puck from me. And I kind of just left I put my leading leg out just to kind of shield the puck and he bounced right off of me. And I think he was pissed. So he was like coming to get me, No, but he for real angled me off. And I'm like, dude, you see, that's position before possession, bro. Like, like that, those are the things that you need to do more often, And it was great to see. But yeah, like those details, like when you do see kids starting to get it. I know you said like when you see a kid get it, they light up, but also as like a teacher and educator, like I used to coach my kids' team, but when you see kids start to grasp ideas, it's really rewarding.
100%. And,
yeah.
As an adult, you go and tell me 15 things, I don't remember them.
Mm-hmm.
Little wins, I'd rather hit 3,000 singles in baseball than, a couple hundred home runs.
Yeah.
Sure.
The little wins add up so quickly and so much more on kids and youth development and teams. And it's like simple thing is talking on the ice. Like when I coached mites, every single day we started practice. Hi, my name is Brent. Hi, my name is Jamie. So everybody had to call for the puck.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And they get so excited when they do it. So you give them the simple tasks, they do it. Oh my God, we got it. We did it. Oh, I did it. Say, coach, right? That's what it's all about.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Instead of beating them down, right? And trying to go to 10 and do, so it's those little things add up quickly. And then you see the parents like, oh, my kid's smiling. I'm buckling my kids. And remember, you're buckling your kids in the car seat with their sippy cups still. And they're leaving happy. Right?
Yeah.
And that was my only goal.
Yeah.
Fun is the number one thing.
Yeah.
You have fun, you get self-esteem, you stay around. You hate it, you're getting yelled at.
Yeah.
You're not staying around.
Yeah.
You're not doing the extra work because it's not fun. It's like sitting in roofing nails. We don't want to do that. But if we're having fun and
do you know what that feels like?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Sitting at roofing nails. I've never heard that.
That was it. That was my 12 years of school, sitting on roofing nails every day.
Oh God.
Brent, can you read in front of the class? Oh yeah. Brent, what's this say? And dyslexic, when we read out loud, words will appear in the period. So I'm saying the wrong words, and kids are like, "Oh, you're dumb and stupid." I remember one biology. I'm like, "Fuck you! I'm gonna beat the shit."
That's right.
Yeah. I still live it. I still think about it today. right?
Sure.
And those scars add up for kids, and that's kind of why the fun and self-esteem for me, in the coaching world, is so important, because at the end of the day, I never want a kid to feel the way I do every day. If I can do that, I've succeeded in leaving this world in a better place.
I'll go, Jan.
So I was just gonna say, so we're talking a little bit, kind of touching on like youth hockey parents and youth hockey, right? What would you say before you stopped coaching? But I'm sure you still have a pretty good idea. What would you say is the biggest mistake that youth parents are making today? Besides not wanting their kid to be coached by an NHL veteran Stanley Cup winner, but other than that,
they need to play 2 or 3 sports, till they're 12, 13, 14.
Right.
One, what's the stat? 70% of kids quit before they're 13.
Wow.
And you talk about the mental side of the game. For me, when I played, whenever I finished, I was done. I went to the gym, I worked out for a couple months, but I didn't go on the ice for a couple months. I needed a mental break. You go to work sometimes. Remember when you needed that vacation, the mental break from that vacation, from work on that vacation.
Yeah.
So what do you do with your sport?
Right.
The repetitiveness, right? It's a grind. It ends up not being so much physically. Like physically, what I did in my body's fine, but it's the mental side. But you got, as a kid, go play baseball or soccer. There's other skills, right? There's other muscles that you're not developing. You can only develop the same muscles over and over again, right? So it's put them in a second sport, and play. For me, I played softball, fast pitch. Obviously, girls college has it. We didn't have baseball in Saskatchewan when I grew up. It was, we had tournaments, and I was pitching at 80 miles an hour, and it was fast. It was a different message, right? I was running, that conditioning, right? Developing different muscles and strengths. And I got my mind away from the game. But when I went back, I was rejuvenated. I was excited to be there. But I just worked out all summer long because I was practicing, I was running, I was playing. But it was just different muscles. Now, if you play one sport your whole life, can you really be called an athlete?
Yeah, it's a good point.
Interesting question.
Yeah, it's a very good point. I mean, yeah, I would say no, right? You're definitely not well-rounded, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Right?
I think that might be a better way. You're not a well-rounded athlete.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
may be an athlete, but you're not a rounded athlete.
Yeah, not even a little bit. Matter of fact, it's funny. We had somebody on. God, it was probably a year ago. It was a hockey dad, and I think Scott. Remember Chris Vollmer? I think he said something to the effect of like, and the kids were like 11 or 12 at the time, and he's like, you see these kids when they get off the ice, like they really don't know how to run the right way, right? Because they don't run, they skate all the time,
Right.
and they don't right. Remember that, Scott? It's a shame, we talk all the time, we have college coaches on, and you ask them, like what they want when they're looking for kids, what they're looking for, junior coaches, what are you looking for? They want athletes, right?
Yeah.
That's what they want.
And, parents love, like, you got to coach, obviously I'm in Chicago. I've got a guy who puts on the microphone, he puts 60 kids on the ice, and he's like, I was a ref, never played the game, right? Blowing the whistle, all this. You got 60 kids there, you never correct them. So you're wasting your money.
You see that all the time, all the time.
And here in Chicago, there's people, you're just wasting money.
Yep.
Because they're not getting better. They're not getting coached. You're getting, so why wouldn't they go play a soccer, or why wouldn't they go play baseball? Why wouldn't you go? You're going to get more out of it than being on the ice and all these camps. You're getting doing a camp here and there, no problem at all, right? It's when you're on the ice 4 or 5 and the spring hockey, and you don't get better in games.
No, not even a little bit. I say it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Say it all the time.
You get better practice. So why I'm going to join this spring team, or I'm going to spring this tournament, and we're going to do.
Yep.
For what?
It
ends up being for the parents so they can drink.
There is some truth
or to
to
put
that.
like another live vicariously through their kids, or just put that feather in their cap that they think means something at the time, but ultimately it doesn't.
And I think the sham of, they see the financial benefit,
Right?
my son's going to make it to the NHL. Okay.
Maybe.
My son or daughter is going to get a college scholarship, D1. Now look at the numbers. You're talking about when you start going pro, you're talking about the world now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Even in college.
Not just your area.
Junior. High schools now.
In Jersey. Yeah, right. Or Minnesota or you're in Illinois. But we're talking the world now.
Right.
There's less than, less than 1% of 1% ever make it. So he or she's going to sign, obviously the PWHL, the NHL, you got Carlson signing 18. My son's going to make $18 million and he's going to pay for it.
Good luck with that one. That's what you're hanging your hat on. You might as well start going play the lottery.
Yeah.
Right?
Your return on your ROI is not very good.
No.
Your return on investment is not good. So I think a lot of that is that portion of it. If I invest this money in my kid, they're going to make it. Or I hear, all the time, I just want my son or daughter to get a college scholarship. Again, you're dealing with the world.
Yeah.
Now, you want to go D1? Do they have the grades?
Right.
People always ask me, hey, did you go to college? College of Hard Knocks, right? I wasn't smart. I could barely write my name down, right? So, and that now has become the biggest business ever. So, are they making that? Again, they may be the best 12-year-old still going home in the booster seat. Great. What does that do? Have they hit puberty?
Yeah.
How's their mindset? When they go away, are they okay?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things happen there. Great. I hope your kid does. I hope your kid does make a ninja. But the what if?
Right.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, and something that keeps on coming up throughout this conversation is the idea of self-esteem. And you talked a lot about making sure to, it's, with enough, negative feedback, right? Like that cup lessens, it empties, and then it needs to get filled back up. That process of filling it back up, like for you, was there anything in particular, like your kind of go-to that would like help start to rebuild that foundation? And, I know a lot of what we've talked about today and tonight, and, is definitely through the lens of like ADHD, et cetera. But there's also plenty of people, and we had a conversation with an NHLer a couple weeks ago who also talked about a mental spiral and how it's hard to get out of it. Right. So I know that it might be different for people that have certain disabilities, but even for those that don't, like kind of what were some of your tools to start filling back up that self-esteem cup?
Yeah, no, 100%. And again, obviously, I always take a look at it, focus from obviously with learning disability, because that's what I live. Right?
Yeah, of course,
every single day.
Totally.
And then and we all struggle. I think if we all stood in a circle and threw our problems in the middle, we jump to grab our problems because there's plenty worse out there. And
that's a good point.
Very well said.
It's finding out what you love, and hockey was the only thing for me because the only thing I was good at. And that's so why, I harp kind of on that fun and the self-esteem, because that was the only thing I was good at, right? Some kids love reading. Oh, go read. Yeah. Awesome. Some kids are chess or, and I think the big one now is video games. For a lot of kids with learning disabilities, video games aren't video games. Video games are self-esteem.
Yeah.
You're good at it.
It's so fucking true. My kid is such a good example of that. It's unbelievable. It's the one place where he can go where he's good at it, and it's mindless.
Right.
Yeah.
And mindless for me is, turn on TV. My wife's like, I didn't know golf was played this much, because I'll turn on golf and nothing else, because I know I can just watch it and not wonder what's next. I'll never turn on a new TV show, because now I'm like, okay, what's coming next? What's coming next? And that's how I live my life, is how do I have to get my lie? Meaning, how do I get around this next thing? What's going to come up where I got to zigzag? Never's a straight line for me. So you can just hear the anxiety of all that, right? So for me, it's like turn on golf and
it unwinds you.
Video games, again, it's and it can be you've got to know your kid. You don't have to have learning disability. I just use that. They're good at it. Now, find other things. They may, again, chess or whatever it is for me. And that's why, it was only hockey because I struggled so badly for so long, being dyslexic, not finding out until I was 32 and told I was dumb and stupid and what's wrong with you my whole life. Right. So my story is a heavier impact, from that side of it, but what is it? Is it a girl, knitting? Obviously not going to be knitting, but is it making bracelets? Is it whatever that is? Find it and know it and use it. None of us want to stuff, if your wife came and started stuffing food down your mouth that you didn't like, you'd be pissed. Same thing as a kid. If you're stuffing that game or that X down their throat, are they enjoying it? Same kind of concept.
Right.
So it's learning your kid, whatever that ends up being. There's no right or wrong. It's just learning it.
So now that the game is behind you, I know that you were saying earlier that I guess maybe the last 11 years has been challenging. In terms of like filling that void, is there anything in particular that like newfound pleasures, enjoyment that like post playing that you're like really into now?
Yeah, it's my foundation.
Your foundation.
Right? It's everything to me. My phone's always like I said earlier. I gave Dominic's got my number. He called me. Asked me questions. It's the one thing I know. Right. Mm-hmm. Again, goes back to I know this area. I'm a professional in this area because I've lived it for 49 years, right? So,
right.
I've had so many negative things happen to me, but I don't say that negatively because I can help anybody. So, I've been sober almost 10 years. I got a month away if I make it. Maybe 10 years sober, right? I've had so many things to me. So, helping people is everything to me. How can I help you? I check into people. The foundation is my purpose, and that's where I get my cup is having these conversations because I know somebody's going to need it. And anybody, you got questions, obviously social media, reach out to me. I'll get back to you. Don't send a 3-page script. Might take a while to get back to you, but I will because I care. I care about people. I care about, helping anybody. So that's definitely what it is. And, I try and golf, but, I suck at that with all my injuries. So,
doesn't matter. As long as you enjoy it, who gives a shit what your score is, right?
I enjoy it because I hit it good every once in a while.
And it keeps you coming back. I know. It's addicting, isn't it? It's the worst game in the world. Then you hit that one ball. You're like, God damn it. You're like, why can't I do this every time? But it keeps you coming back.
Right. It's so, and that's why I love watching it too. Again, obviously, I know how hard it is, and I know how the little details that go into it. It goes back, here we are talking about details again. I guess details in a company, if you own a company, you need to know all the details. I need to know how this nut works. I need to, same thing in hockey. And so, but back to the point is foundation is my cup of tea, and it's what I do every day. It's my purpose that I get up and go to bed to, and knowing how anybody, mental health and addiction and learning disorders, I've got them all, and I'm willing to help anybody I can, however I can.
Speaking of, where can everybody find you, Brent?
Obviously on all over social media, Instagram and Facebook, and the Sopel Foundation Instagram page or Brent Sopel, here in Chicago, but obviously social media, reach out anytime. I'll always try and get back to you. I will always get back to you at some point in time. Just sometimes it takes a little bit longer for me to read, go through things and read things and understand what people are saying because my process of it. But feel free to reach out. I'll always do what I can.
That's amazing. And listen, and thank you so much for doing all that you do. And just like you had talked earlier about, like the number of people that have, similar disabilities, this conversation I'm sure is going to be, well received by a lot of families. So thank you so much for doing what you do to help people out. It's a gift.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you guys having me on, listening to me blab, and always here, to help anytime, and, willing to jump on anytime, because if I can help one kid, as I relate in my foundation, one tagline is "You're not alone." The other one's the kid in the chair. I'm looking to help any kid in the chair. You can't get to two till you get to one.
Right.
Yeah. Amazing stuff. Brent, thank you so much. This was unreal.
Awesome conversation.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Good.
All right, everybody. Welcome back from our interview with Brent Sopel. All right, Guy. That was interesting. I mean,
different than anything we've had on to date.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
And the part that I don't want to say that I like the most, but just talking about a player's self-esteem, right? And
it's huge.
It doesn't take dyslexia for people to feel down on themselves, or any of the other challenges that Brent had. But I just think hearing him talk about how challenging things were for him, and like if he can get past that stuff, it's certainly not easy, but it's just let him be an example of someone who's like, been able to get through
correct
all of these things, and then
and make it to the pinnacle.
100%. And he didn't even realize, right? Like, for like he like he said, he only started connecting some of these dots like when
he was much older,
after he finished playing.
Yeah.
So
it's funny. He kept saying, something to the effect of like, I forgot how he put it, but he kept saying like, like when I was younger, like I had so many challenges, right? Like, he kept saying like the kids making fun of him when he was younger, right? Something about like his reading and stuff like that. But I have to tell you, like, that probably, listen, everything shapes you, right? And that shaped him into the man he is today, right? And now he has had, a successful NHL career at the highest level of the sport that he plays, and now he's, helping other kids deal with the stuff that he maybe didn't know to deal with as a kid, but knows now that he's an adult, right? As far as I'm concerned, like that's a success.
Yeah.
Like you don't get much more successful in life than that.
No.
That's phenomenal.
No, but
and like I said, he had a long NHL career. And he figured his way. But but like yourself, he figured it out.
But like for yourself and other families that have a clear understanding of
clearer
of like what their child's going through. Yeah. But like it's an opportunity. Like you can have conversations with coaches, and you can say like, just give them a heads up. Like this is part of my son's story, and these are the way he learns best. And if you see this happening, don't immediately think it's, not paying attention or goofing off. Like there are some challenges there. And, look at the younger ages, coaches, the having a parent come to them with that, I think would go a long way in helping, that kid's development.
Listen, I have been doing it since Dominic was a squirt.
Yep.
When we changed teams after his last mite year, I went to the coach and I said, listen, like this is the story. And I've done it to date.
And what are some of the things that coaches in response have done to help Dom along the way?
Well, listen, I think some understand more than others.
Fair.
Right? But I'm going to give them the full picture, because one thing my wife said when Dominic was younger is she did not, and in school, she did not want him to, and it's obviously sports too, but school was kind of really the main focus. She didn't want him to be labeled as a behavior problem, right? Which most of these kids do get labeled as.
Right. Right.
They can't sit still, or like they're doing like a math problem and they get frustrated because they maybe they learn a little different. They need a little more time. Right. So these kids get pegged, with a certain label, not all, but a lot, I would say. And so I and Nancy, the two of us have been very forward when Dominic is playing, and Dominic has gotten better as he's gotten older. Don't get me wrong. Right. But he still has, the ADHD still breaks through. But I'm very open and honest with coaches.
Yeah, of course.
And I tell them up front, like, this is what you're getting. And if you don't want it, no problem.
Right.
Like, luckily he's a good player.
Yeah.
So they kind of take, take the good with the bad. And again, he's not bad. Don't get me wrong.
No, I know.
He's really
that's
not.
why I was surprised you were saying that.
I'm telling our listeners, like, but listen, does Dominic have trouble paying attention sometimes? Yeah. He does.
Yeah.
Like Brent said in our interview, he's like, if you ask me to go upstairs and brush my teeth, clean my room, and do this and do that, he's like, I'm probably only gonna do one of them.
Right.
So you need to be very specific
about what you need and not to give too much.
Correct. Because too much is like overload.
Right.
Right. So Dominic is also, he knows what's going on with him.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And he's aware of it. And he focuses really hard on, which maybe some kids don't have to focus so hard on, but he focuses really hard on paying attention, which is not something that a kid without ADHD, like they have to pay attention, but these kids have to pay more attention.
Right. It's really not something they have to think about.
Right. They really have to use a lot of brain power to try to focus.
Right.
Right. It's hard. It's not easy, so we're you're talking about communication. We're very open and honest about when we come to a new team and say, hey, listen, like this is the story.
Yeah.
Like this is the situation. And I've never heard a coach go, listen, that's not going to work.
Right.
Right. I've yet to encounter that. I don't think I'm going to ever encounter that.
Right.
Maybe some people do. And I'm sorry if you do. It just means go find another team.
Right.
Right. But I'm open and honest. So they know the situation, so they can, take appropriate kind of steps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's great that he's made himself available to talk to Dom and continue to be a sounding board, like you said earlier.
Listen, I think he said it in our interview. He's very open with people. I mean, if you have a problem or you want to talk to him, reach out to him.
Yeah.
He's very available.
Yeah.
And he like you said, his mission is to try to help kids.
Right.
That are going through something that he still goes through on a daily basis.
Right.
So if he can shed any light, if he could help, I mean, again, he's a phenomenal sounding board for my child, right? Because my kid's been looking forever for somebody that is like him.
Right.
Right. And has made it to the high levels.
Right.
And he found Brent, and now they kind of correspond back and forth, and he's been great for him.
Yeah, no, that's unreal. Yeah. And I know part of what he wants to do in terms of like, when he's coached and coaching the younger ages, just coach in ways that really help ensure that the kids are understanding, like, what the goals are, what he's trying to accomplish. And, it's not always a one size fits all model. And he's a great example of someone that just needed a different size. And he's trying, and he's working really hard to give that back and pay it forward. So, just a great guy.
Yes, he is. I think that we have a lot of parents that listen to us, because I've talked to a bunch of you. You guys, you've reached out to me. We have a bunch of parents that listen who have kids with ADHD. So I hope that this helps, kind of shed a little bit of light on some stuff. And Brent is there, if you guys need to reach out, and he will help you. He's fantastic.
Good stuff, dude.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right. So what else in the world of hockeying, where we already talked about the season's upon us. We have Otto's starting to skate next week. Anything, I'm trying to even think like NHL wise, what's new NHL wise? Anything that we haven't spoken about?
Funny you mentioned NHL.
Apparently Jack Hughes and Tate McRae have broken up.
So I saw something like that the other day.
Apparently.
I thought that's what that was. I didn't read it, but I kind of glanced by it. I'm assuming that
apparently there were red flags.
I mean, not surprised, So it's so funny that you asked that, because I'm on NHL.com, and there's a thing, they did like a feature on the Devils.
Yeah.
Right.
With Sonny.
What?
With Sonny Meda?
Sonny, they talk about Sonny, the new GM, but it says, Hughes' ability to stay on the ice, goaltending among questions for Devils.
100%. 100% it is. Yeah, we'll see.
Remind me, is Jake Allen the number one goalie now?
I think so. I mean, Markstrom's gone. Did
they bring any, or are they going to bring up, don't
they have a Russian goalie that was at,
from BU,
Gorgiev,
however you say
something like that.
Yeah,
I think that's true.
Is he good enough to come up?
I don't know. It's hard. It's a hard jump. Like so I know from BU there, Drew Comesso. He's in the Blackhawks system, and he's been in the Blackhawks system. I think he might have started playing the year before Bedard.
Okay,
so maybe this is going to be Bedard's fourth year.
I want to say fourth,
so maybe it's his fifth year, and he's come up and down as Chicago has not been great, and he was in recent memory one of the better goalies that I think BU has had,
This
and
kid's phenomenal, by the way.
Camesso?
No, the kid
but
Devils.
this other kid that they brought up, and when they brought him up, it was like he came up, I think, like mid-season. He came from the USHL.
He did come up mid-season. That's correct.
Mid-season USHL.
Yeah, and like was a stud all of a sudden.
So who knows? But all I'm saying is that like he hasn't been around the block yet, you know. So
no, he hasn't.
This is
I'm assuming Allen's going to be the number one.
I'm assuming,
unless they do something trade wise. You know, well, our buddy Evan Rodriguez was in that trade, in the Markstrom trade.
What did anything shake out with Hellebuck? Because he's not moving anymore, right?
I don't think so.
That quieted down a while ago.
Unless you give up like your second born child for him.
Well, but I thought was he not looking?
They're asking for a truck ton.
Oh, did Junior? Has it been disclosed what they were looking for?
And meanwhile, that was a truck ton is a combination of a fuck ton and a truckload.
Oh, that makes sense. Know. Yeah.
Yeah. You like that? I like to make up new words as I go along.
Those were actually, combining them.
Correct.
You've now made a new one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was
like ginormous.
Right. It's
like ginormous.
It's like ginormous. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's what I do sometime with my.
Yeah. So I think it looks like Jake Allen's expected to see a major share of early action.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
And listen, the Devils, I hope they're good, but Jack has to stay healthy, right? Like we always talk about every beginning of every season. And we'll do like an NHL, you know, we'll do our Stanley Cup champion who we think is going to make the playoffs, you know, as the season gets closer. But I'm not going to lie, I'm really excited for college hockey.
Okay.
Like I am really excited.
What about college hockey is getting you excited?
Just everything. I love college sports. Not that I don't like, you know, pro as well, but I love college sports.
Okay, but what particularly about? I mean, like, is there something about BC that you're stoked about? Is it
just college
Princeton?
in general?
Is it
Princeton, BC? The college game to me, is I don't want to say more exciting, right? Because I don't think exciting is the right word, but there's like I don't want to say a purity in it because now they're getting paid too. Right. So it's a little different than it used to be. But these kids are trying to make the pinnacle of their sport.
Right.
Right. So, and could they be giving more effort than some of the pros? It's possible. I don't want to say the pros don't give a lot of effort. Right. You know, but they've already made it. They're making big money.
But there's plenty of guys in the NHL that are just trying to stay there.
Of course
and like every night's an audition
or a tryout. There's no question about that. But there's something about the atmospheres of college rinks,
different energy,
the student sections,
right,
like
I
the
hear
fan
you.
base.
I hear you.
There's just something about college sports to me that
gets you going.
Yeah,
I hear you, man.
Yeah, it's college football too, not just college hockey.
Yep,
I love major college sports.
I do not watch pretty much anything but hockey.
But you'll watch college hockey?
I do. Yeah, 100%. I'll put on BU.
Oh, you will?
Without a doubt.
Just BU, or will you watch like Michigan, Penn State, or like
North
Dakota?
No, I'll watch other bigger matchups.
You will,
but I don't necessarily tune into like non-Boston or Hockey East lower matchups.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
I do. Yeah, there could be some decent players on this.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I'm not watching. That much.
I understand.
You know,
I for some strange reason I gravitate toward college sports.
Yeah, well, listen, it's good, and also you have an opportunity to go and you can cheer them on. It's less expensive. You go with the family, whatever the deal is.
Definitely a little more accessible.
It's a little more accessible in some ways, for sure.
Yeah, you go to like an NFL game with 4 people.
No, thank you.
A husband, wife, and 2 kids.
No, thank you.
Or like an MLB game.
No, I would go.
Yeah, you would. You go to Major League Baseball?
Yeah, I almost took Noah the other day.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yankee Stadium?
No, I want to go to Citi Field.
Oh, are you a Met fan?
Yes.
Are you?
Well, I'm not. Let's just put it this way: I'm not a baseball fan, but because of work years ago, I spent a lot of time at Citi Field.
Oh, you did? That's right.
So I developed a fondness for Citi Field.
So you like Citi? Okay, so you
like
Citi
Field.
So you were going to take her to a Met game?
Yeah, I probably will.
Well, the Mets are shit now, so the tickets are really cheap.
Oh, they're not good.
You could walk up to the.
Would they give me money to go in there?
You could walk. I don't think they're at that point yet.
Okay,
but you could walk up to the ticket window probably and be like, hey, listen, give me the cheapest seats.
And then
you'd probably walk in there for and you can move down because they suck. So you could probably move down like no problem.
You want to hear something interesting?
You could probably sit in like $500 seats for like $20.
I'll just ask them immediately for a complimentary upgrade.
Well, I don't even think you need to do that.
No,
you
okay.
You need to be savvy about moving around stadiums.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, like it's pretty easy to like bypass ushers.
Well, listen, this was interesting. When I was working at Citi Field, I worked in hospitality and food and beverage.
Right.
When I was there. So the attendance was really important to us.
Of course it was.
So, but this is the thing. When they would report there was 2 different attendance numbers. There was quote unquote attendance, which usually gets broadcast over the airwaves, which is like tickets sold.
Okay.
Against turnstiles. Turnstiles are a different number.
Well, I'm assuming it's always lower.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because there's season ticket holders that don't show up and don't sell their tickets.
So we would always need to ask, like, others in the stadium, be like, listen, we need to understand how many people we're potentially serving. Like, what are
So would you find that number out after the game?
Yeah, you don't know
starts?
before.
Okay.
Yeah, but that
and even after the game starts, the turnstile numbers go up.
Even after the game starts, the turnstile, but not enough.
People come late.
Right. But
not enough to make a difference.
No, probably not enough to make. But the thing for us was like, just because there's a few things, like the concessions, they would stop after like whatever the 7th inning.
Stop selling beer.
Like just to understand, like kind of like what was ahead of us.
And would you guys be like locked and loaded, like ingredients wise for like
yeah?
How does that work? I'm actually curious how that whole situation works.
Yeah, so part of so frozen food in stadiums is important for a reason, because because it just stays frozen. You use what you need, right? So when you're
I'm assuming most of it's frozen.
Well, but not less and less, right?
Okay.
Like because you're having higher quality, better ingredient concessions, and like
That's true.
For us, we would have to kind of forecast, and then.
Okay.
If it rains, you're kind of SOL for some things. You know what I mean? So there's only so much that you can do, but part of it was understanding. Like we looked at, which was interesting.
Also, bigger matchups, like who's coming to the building.
Who's coming to the building is going to influence attendance. Who's pitching? Yeah. Who's pitching? Because
also huge.
Better pitchers are going to go
more of a draw.
Well, no, not that, but listen to this. If you have a pitcher that's like striking more people out, they're going to get to the 7th inning faster. The game is going to go faster. Sales are lower when you have high end pitching.
Right. So that makes sense. So as the innings are drawn out and are longer, you guys obviously are making more
have an
money
opportunity to keep on selling.
You're selling more.
Correct.
Oh, that's interesting. So like if you have like 2 aces going, like 2 number 1s going, right?
Yeah.
Like that. Theoretically should be like a low scoring, low hit game.
Yep.
So those innings are going to go much faster, quicker.
Yep.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm just curious. Was there like a normal game time? Like for like MLB games, was it like 3 hours? Was it like 2.5 hours?
I don't remember, to be honest with you. I don't. But I'm sure that statistic's available.
And you guys would obviously sell more product as the game drags on.
Because there's concession stands are open longer.
No shit.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
It is. Yeah.
No shit. That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah. Totally.
Oh, that's neat, dude.
Yeah.
That's actually really cool.
Anyhow,
gotcha.
As we go off on a tangent.
So you were going to take Noah to a Mets game.
Yeah, but we'll probably, Otto wants to go too, I think. We'll probably go to a game before the summer. We're looking at US Open also over the same area. That's upon us.
Over
US
Open. Yeah. Haven't been there in years.
I know, me neither.
Place is great.
Yeah, it's apparent. It's like a whole. Like you spend the whole day there.
I'm sure it's gotten so much better. Than
no doubt. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the U.S. Open. I like the major tennis tournaments.
When was the last time you've been?
The U.S. Open?
Yeah.
It's been years, at least a decade.
It's been longer than me.
Probably longer.
I haven't been there, and my dad, when he worked for Chase Manhattan Bank, had like a tent. They had like a tent there.
Yeah.
So that's the last time I was there, and that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, we need to wrap this one up. Sorry, I'm just checking the time. Mm-hmm. But on that note, anything else before we wrap up?
No, I don't think so. I think we had a nice little episode here.
All right, dude. Yeah. Well, this was a good one. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Different angle, but really important. I'm sure it's going to be really helpful for those that need to hear the message.
Yes, and for those of you that need it, you can reach out to Brent. Like I said, he's very approachable, very reachable. You can if you need him, you can find him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's a wrap, dude.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for subscribing and downloading and listening to our show. We have some really crazy stuff coming for you guys. Our guests keep getting bigger, and our sponsorships keep kind of adding up here. So we have some really cool gear reviews and really cool giveaways coming. So keep paying attention.
That's it.
All right, buddy.
All right, man.
Yeah.
See ya.